We are at Citi Field in Flushing Meadows, New York, for the rubber match of the first Subway Series of 2010. It's ESPN's Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Tonight, a pitching matchup worthy of October. The Mets send their ace, Johan Santana, to the mound in search of the series' clinching win. He's up against the Yankees' ace lefty, Big CC Sabathia, a star of last year's postseason. The Subway Series began Friday night right here. The Yankees received a much-needed, strong outing from struggling starter Javier Vazquez. He went 6, allowing 1 hit and no runs. After getting his first Major League hit earlier in the game, New York-born Kevin Russo got his first 2 Major League RBIs on this 7-inning double. The Yankees won 2-1. Last night, the embattled David Wright, a pair of 2-out RBI singles. Jason Bay scored both times. The first one in the last half of the first inning, and then again in the 3rd inning. Mike Pelfrey, meanwhile, was very strong. He went 6, only 6 hits, 1 run allowed. Then the bullpen, the final 3 innings, including a 5-out save for K-Rod. The Mets won Game 2, 5-3. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller, along with our Hall of Fame second baseman, Joe Morgan, and our ace right-hander, Cy Young winner, Oral Hershiser. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. Now, we are in the big city near the bright lights of Broadway, and we've got 2 of the game's biggest stars ready to take center stage. 2-time Cy Young Award winner, Johan Santana for the Mets, and Oral, the ace who really shone most brightly in the biggest games last October and into November, CC Sabathia.
Yeah, they're both aces, and they're both going at it in the Subway Series. They have met before on the field 4 times. CC getting the best of it, 3 wins. Another time they met, shooting a New York commercial for the subway system. But you know what? This game might be bigger for Santana tonight. Johan Santana, 3 no decisions in his last 3 outings, but he has pitched well, has not been supported by the offense. A fastball changeup combination, but I think against this Yankee lineup tonight, he will need that 3rd pitch, that slider. And then on the other side of the field, CC Sabathia, the big fellow in his last 3 outings, a loss also and 2 no decisions. So he's looking to get on the bump and get a win, a fastball, breaking ball. But this might come down to the command of the 3rd pitch, his changeup. The slider for Santana, the changeup for Sabathia. That might come down to the whisker of how this pitching duel is decided. All
right, so we've got the great duel, and there are other big stars in this ball game, including the 2 big-time third baseman taking center stage. We've got Alex Rodriguez of the Yankees, David Wright of the Mets, and so far, Joe, neither one of them has put up the kind of numbers that we've come to expect.
Well, John, the problem is that both of these guys have set the bar so high that we expect them to be great all the time. In the case of Alex Rodriguez, he is the only player in Major League history to have hit over 30 home runs or more, plus driven in over 100 runs. 13 times he's done that. So we expect home runs from Alex Rodriguez. Right now he only has 6 home runs, but he's still on pace to drive in over 100 runs. And remember, home run hitters hit in bunches, and I expect A-Rod to end up with over 30 home runs and over 100 RBIs. Now, in Wright's case, the real problem is he has been inconsistent since last year. He hit 10 home runs, drove in 72 runs. Those are career lows in home runs and RBIs. And so far this year, he has been inconsistent in that he's striking out a lot. His big problem is he has 58 strikeouts in only 43 games, but he's still driving in some runs. So if you look closely, you say he's not hitting well, or he's not consistent, but guess what? He's going to drive in over 121 runs right now, and he's going to hit over 30 home runs. Those are pretty good numbers for anyone, but these 2 guys have set the bar so high, we just expect too much for them.
So each will be up there against the other team's ace. We've got the Yankees and the Mets in the big city. We've got Yankees fans, we've got Mets fans, shoulder to shoulder, hip to hip, here at Citi Field. And Johan Santana, he's all ready to go. Derek Jeter will be coming up, and this rubber match of the 3-game Subway Series is about to begin when we return.
ESPN's Bell, think outside the bun, and in part by the new Ford Fiesta. It's a pretty big deal. And 1-800-CONTACTS. Quality contact lenses, your brand delivered right to you.
Sunday Night Baseball on a beautiful night, sun setting back toward Manhattan. We are in Queens, Flushing Meadows, Corona Park at Citi Field. Watch this game and over 800 other live games on your mobile phone with ESPN Mobile TV. Text TV to 4ESPN. That's TV to 43776. Joe Girardi, in his second year as the manager of the Yankees, took the ball club to the World Series, and they won it over the defending World Series champion Phillies, 4-2. And here's his batting order, presented by Taco Bell. Just turned into the umpires just a few moments ago. Derek Jeter struggling here lately at shortstop. Brett Gardner, the speedy left fielder. Mark Teixeira also struggling again. First base, Alex Rodriguez. Third base, Robinson Cano. At second base, Nick Swisher in right field. Francisco Cervelli, the catcher with Posada on the disabled list. Kevin Russo, one of the heroes here Friday night. He's in center field, and CC Sabathia is the pitcher, batting ninth.
And Mark Teixeira, this Yankee lineup is number 1 in runs per game, but Teixeira is still struggling. He struggled in April at 136. May got off to a hot start, but lately still struggling. It might be getting to his head. He's thinking about taking too many swings in the batting cages. Maybe I need to lay off the weightlifting. But with a big foul like that, with a big swing, it's timing, and his timing is off.
And they'll be facing the ace lefty of the Mets, 31-year-old Johan Santana from Tovar Merida, Venezuela. Santana, whom we saw just get lit up, his worst start as a big leaguer in Philadelphia 3 weeks ago. And although he's pitched well enough to have won a couple of times, he has not won a game since then.
Well, John, they thought he was tipping his pitches in Philadelphia, and they think they've corrected that. And he has pitched very well since that time. He's gone, it's his third consecutive time where he has gone 7 innings or more. So he has not been dominant as we expected him to be, but he's still throwing great. And remember, he had off-season surgery, so he's still trying to work his way back to full strength. But I really think that he needs that, as Paul said, that third pitch, but I think that third pitch needs to be a curveball tonight.
So here comes Johan Santana. Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter playing in his 2,181st game for the Yankees. There have only been 3 players who played more games than that in a New York uniform, and he hits the first pitch for a single to center. So Jeter right now is aboard against Santana. Let's take a look at the Mets. Now they line the field defensively. Jason Bay, Angel Pagan, and Jeff Francoeur, who's won a Gold Glove from left to right in the outfield. On the infield, David Wright, 2-time Gold Glover at third base. Jose Reyes is at short. Cora in place of Castillo, who's hurting at second, and Ike Davis, the rookie, at first base, with Rod Barajas, the veteran catcher, and Johan Santana on the mound. 63 degrees, the game time temperature here in Citi Field. So now Brett Gardner comes up. Since we saw the Yankees 2 weeks ago at Fenway Park, Jeter had been struggling. His batting average, starting with that Sunday night game 2 weeks ago, hitting only 194. So he was working long and hard with the Yankee hitting instructor before the game, as Gardner shows bunt and ended up using the bat more as a shield there than trying to get the bunt down. Foul ball, strike one.
Well, it's unusual when you have a guy with his speed square around completely. You usually try to drop it down the third base line and try to beat it out. You'd still get the sacrifice. If they throw you out, you'd still sacrifice the runner to second base, but he squared around, and when you square around, you're kind of stationary there. There's not a lot of movement, and he almost got hit.
0-1 to Gardner. Right, shallow at third. And that one, a changeup on the inside for a strike.
Well, 3 strikes, no surprise. Johan Santana throws the highest percentage of strikes in the big league, 3rd highest. He's right at the top. Sorry about that. His last start, he was number 1, but this guy will pound the strike zone. You think about against the Yankee lineup that likes to grind it out. Derek Jeter jumped on the first pitch. Gardner now down 0-2.
Jeter with his lead from first. Davis on the bag with him. And he struck him out.
When I talked earlier with some of the players, they were more concerned with his curveball than they were his straight changeup. They know he has a great straight changeup, but every once in a while he'll use the curveball. And you can see that curveball there, 80 miles an hour, is a different speed than his changeup.
Yeah. He'll go 90, 91, sometimes above that, and then down to about 83 with the changeup. That big curveball or slash slider, it is a breaking ball, that's for sure.
Here's Mark Teixeira, and that one is in for a called strike, a fastball at 89 miles an hour. Teixeira is struggling again. And we saw the Yankees 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Baseball at Fenway. He had just started getting it going and was hot. No longer. A switch hitter batting right-handed with one out, Jeter at first. Very high with a fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The first ball of the game by Johan Santana, but early on we've seen the breaking ball. We've seen him attack the hitters with the fastball. He gives up a fastball hit to Jeter. Really expect these Yankees to attack his fastball. They don't want to get to that changeup or breaking ball.
A changeup and a check swing foul right over to A-Rod, who's on deck. And it's a 1 ball, 2 strike count. The Yankees have played 43 games, and Teixeira's numbers are very low at 204, and that's the lowest of his career through 43 games. Second lowest on base percentage, lowest slugging, and lowest OPS. So for a guy who's been a slow starter this far into the season, it's becoming out of the ordinary. And Jeter back to the bag at first.
But John, his troubles actually started at the end of last season, and they've continued right on through this season. He had 167 against the Twins in the division playoff. He hit 222 against the Angels in the League Championship Series, and he hit a 136 against the Phillies in the World Series. So he has been struggling big time since the postseason started.
And that's a foul out of play. I once heard a Major League executive say that he thought it was really a test for hitters especially, but pitchers as well, when they'd gone all the way through a postseason and through a World Series, because the whole game is looking on. There are no secrets. I mean, they're all well scouted anyway. But now players sit and watch and see things for themselves on the big stage with teams executing generally very well. And that's all for Teixeira.
And that's one of the problems that he's been having, John. He chases the low curveballs and changeups out of the strike zone, and he doesn't handle the high fastball. He's never handled the high fastball well anyway because he has a slight uppercut in his swing. Watch the uppercut. See, he swings up a little bit, and that's why he doesn't handle the high pitch. He's a good low ball hitter. See, you have to be coming level or down to get to that ball. You see him going up, and that's why he has trouble with that high pitch, and that's why he's such a good low ball hitter, because he does hit the ball this low with that uppercut.
Teixeira now 1 for his last 24 as Alex Rodriguez stands in. Very high. 1 ball and no strikes. Alex Rodriguez, and we've come to think of A-Rod as a great all-round hitter, but especially a signature for him is the long ball. He's one of the most prolific home run hitters of all time, but only 6 home runs so far this year, although the RBIs are nice, 32 in 43 games in the season. The changeup, and he fooled him badly with that one. A ball and a strike.
Well, Santana is not backing down. He talked about this outing facing CC again. CC beat him 3 times within a month in 2007 when CC Sabathia won the Cy Young for Cleveland and Santana was in Minnesota. A lot of intensity here in this matchup.
2 down. Jeter, who led off the inning with a single, still at first. And very high. 2 balls and a strike. Now, we mentioned 3 weeks ago, Santana absorbed his worst career beating at the hands of the Philadelphia Phillies. The last time he faced the Yankees, that was his second worst thrashing. June 14th of last year, he gave up 9 runs in 3 innings to the Yankees. So he's got a few scores to settle with the Yankees. 2-1 the count. And Jeter back to the bag at first.
You know, I said that they felt like he was tipping his pitches to the Phillies. That's not to say the Phillies were cheating by getting the signs. They were reading from him what pitches were coming, because he was tipping off when he was throwing the fastball and tipping off when he was throwing the changeup. They worked on that and supposedly straightened that out.
So he was giving it away to the observant eyes of some Phillies hitters. A pop-up Alex Cora. And that's the inning. First pitch single by Jeter. And then Santana out of the stretch from the get-go settles in. Now CC Sabathia heads to the hill. The Mets are coming up. No score. The manager of the Mets, and he had to change his batting order shortly before game time. Let's take a look at the Mets starting lineup presented by Taco Bell. Jose Reyes leads off at short, and Alex Cora, a late replacement for Luis Castillo. Jason Bay in left field. Ike Davis, the rookie slugger, at first base. David Wright at third base. Angel Pagan in center, hitting sixth. Rod Barajas, who leads the club with 10 homers. Catcher Jeff Francoeur in right field, and Johan Santana, the pitcher, bats ninth.
And the key to this lineup, Jose Reyes at the top of the order, the leadoff hitter. He's hitting only .216. Remember, almost a year ago, May 26th, taken out with the right hamstring, missed most of last year, thyroid in spring training, but now 171 at-bats, still not on his game yet.
Sabathia, a fastball for a called strike to Reyes. Reyes is going to turn 27 early next month. And he's a dynamic player. We expect him to always be hitting close to 300, hitting lots of doubles and triples and stealing bases. Toward the middle, Jeter. He can't get it. Base hit. And I don't think it would have mattered if he had been able to get it with Reyes' speed.
No, you're right, John. And you said we expect Reyes to be hitting well. Well, one thing to remember, he only played in 36 games last year, did not get the spring training until late, and the major league players had already left, so his spring training was against minor league players. So he is just now starting to round into shape, at least the Mets hope so. But it takes a long time when you miss that many ball games, as Jose Reyes did.
He had the thyroid condition and was ordered to sit for, more than 2 weeks, where he was not able to do any exercise at all until the thyroid situation settled down. First ball swinging, Cora hits a high pop-up. And Jeter, that is one away. Reyes still at first.
Well, a good thing for Reyes, I mean, last night he had a couple of base hits, so maybe he is going to get on a tear.
I was a little surprised Derek Jeter got the bad jump that he has. He's really worked hard on his quickness here, getting a little older as a shortstop. And you watch the jump and the range that he has. This is about a 3, how many hopper? Almost 4 hopper, and he looks like he almost figures out that he's not going to get him, so he doesn't make that little extra effort. Even if he catches that ball, he's not going to throw Jose Reyes out. And he kind of timed it. But I'm not going to talk poorly about Derek Jeter's defense. I'm just going to point out the fact that I just thought his range was a little short on that ball.
The angle he took also made it difficult. He didn't cut across to cut it off.
That first broadcast for ESPN, Omar Vizquel made an error on the first play, and I talked about the hustle of the runner. I'm like, I am not talking about Omar's glove.
Omar, one of the great defensive shortstops in the history of the game.
They're going to make a mistake every once in a while, but it's all about consistency at this level.
This is Jason Bay. Now, Bay has been hitting for average. His average has climbed way up, but still not for power, which is rather astonishing. He hit 36 home runs last year. His average at 298, but only 1 homer and 16 runs batted in.
John, I came in early. I was here Friday night. He hit 2 balls, one off the wall for a double and another ball at left center field. If he would have been still in Boston or some other ballpark, both of those home balls would have probably gone out of the ballpark. So this park does take its toll on Jason Bay.
Well, this park, by all accounts, has hampered his home run efforts versus where he played last year, Fenway Park. He had 13 home runs through the same number of games last year. The Mets had played 44 games. He had 13 homers and 45 RBIs at this stage last year. For the Red Sox, he's got 1 homer versus 13 and 16 RBIs versus 45 this year.
Well, one thing you can watch as we look at those numbers, his swing is similar to Teixeira's in that he has a slight uppercut. And when he hits the ball, it will sink going to the outfield rather than get that backspin and carry.
Reyes, the runner at first. Sabathia out of the slide step. That's fouled off to the right. The count 2 balls and 2 strikes. By the way, last year when they moved into this new ballpark, you recall that David Wright was not hitting home runs. Nobody was hitting home runs for the Mets, but it was very glaring in the case of Wright. His average was fine, but no home runs. And it's almost as if Bay has started this season as David Wright from last year. The curveball down and away.
So much of this game can be the emotional confidence of a player and then what the stadium gives and takes away. And if it makes you then change your mechanics a little bit or change your philosophy at the plate, it can take some time to adjust your game.
I want to explain that, talk about topspin. When you swing up on the ball, you have the uppercut, you put topspin on the ball. That makes it sink.
There goes Reyes. But it's ball 4 to Jason Bay. 2 men on, 1 man out. And the cleanup man, the rookie, Ike Davis, coming up with David Wright out on deck. Sabathia in a jam here right away.
Sabathia and Johan Santana are very similar in that if you're going to try to get them, you need to try to get them early before they can get into a groove. Santana, seems to be able to get in the groove quicker sometimes than Sabathia, but when Sabathia gets in a groove, it's tough to catch him, so you got to get him early.
Now you might be saying, how come Jerry Manuel is having Ike Davis, a left-handed hitter and a rookie at that, in the cleanup spot against the veteran lefty like Johan C.C. Sabathia, who curves Davis for a called strike? Well, it's been a little bit different so far this year for Sabathia, who has dominated lefties in the past. But so far this year, left-handed hitters have a .293 batting average against him, which is very unusual.
But guess what? David Wright's a better hitter against left-handed pitching than Ike Davis will be.
David Wright has worn out the lefties so far this year.
So I would ask that same question.
So you're still asking it?
Yeah, I'm still asking it because I know that David Wright hits left-handed pitching very well.
I think he's one of the best in the league, if not the best. It's over 400.
You see, Ike Davis has actually hit well, and he's only had 22 at-bats against lefties. Pop-up. Jeter still going out. Base hit. Reyes had to hold up to make sure it wasn't caught. He stops at third. The bases are loaded.
That's why he's the manager. See, he knew he was going to get that hit.
That was a smart play by Derek Jeter. Even though he knew he was going away from the infield, he knew the ball needed to get back in quick. So he did the stop-jump throw to get it back in quick. Instead of just running away from the ball after this ball bloops in, Jeter continues through the ball, picks it up, and quickly gets it in. He felt that his exchange would get it in there quicker. Even though he misses it, he stops Reyes at third by getting it in quick to second.
So great hustle by Jeter, who sometimes just intuitively seems to know the right thing to do. Maybe not just sometimes, maybe just about all the time. But here is David Wright. The bases are loaded. Reyes, Bay, and Davis, the runners. And that is a called strike. The curveball. And Sabathia gets ahead of David Wright. You mentioned Righty's hitting .353 in his career against lefties. He's always hit them well. Hitting .444, fourth best in the majors so far this year. The infield double play depth against him. 3 men on, 1 man out. A chance for the Mets to strike early against Sabathia. He lays off the high fastball. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now, one thing to keep in mind here as well, Sabathia has induced at least 1 double play grounder in each of his last 6 starts. And this is one of those spots where that's exactly what he'd like to get. And a foul out of play on the high fastball, 93 miles an hour.
That's one of the pitches I've seen David Wright have problems with this year, John. The high fastball, middle in, and you see he's a little late on it, and that's from a left-handed pitcher. So he's a little later on it from right-handed pitchers. That's been one of the things I've noticed. And when you're late on pitches, you start to hurry up to get to the ball, and then that opens you up for other things.
Curve, struck it out, and maybe more of a slider than a curve. Made him look bad.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. What happens is you're late on the fastball, so you try to speed up to get to the curveball. He was out there so quickly, then he stopped. So here's the fastball. He's late on it, and it's right down the middle. Now watch the curveball. He'll step out there, so he stops and then tries to recheck. He had already tried to get out there for a fastball. Now he has to wait and see that it's a curveball, and it's called being caught in between. You're late on the fastball, early on the breaking ball.
His body was early. He might as well not even have swung. The bat was so late. Here is Angel Pagan. 59th time this year that David Wright has struck out. And that is a called strike, knee high on the outside. 0-1 to Angel Pagan. Switch hitter. Been playing in place of the injured Carlos Beltran. Pagan, 286 average, 3 homers, 20 batted in. Reyes at third, Bay at second, Ike Davis at first. All 3 ready to run at the crack of the bat with 2 down. A looping liner, caught by Cano. Sabathia sailing through some troubled waters, but survives it. On to the second. Cano coming up. start the second inning. Great threat for the Mets, but they did not score. So here is Johan Santana back to the hill. Robinson Cano leads off against him. Then Nick Swisher and Francisco Cervelli. Right down the left field line. The hold with a single as Jason Bay retrieves it. So Cano is aboard.
You know, John, we were talking about David Wright, which is just the opposite of Robinson Cano as we saw there. But we're talking about how he was having trouble with the high fastball, so you start a little sooner. Now watch his hands. They go forward with his legs, right? Look at his front leg. Anytime that front knee buckles or breaks down, you're dead. And all of a sudden, that ball is late. He was late on it because he couldn't pull the trigger because he was in a bad position. He had gotten out on his front side. His hands had started forward, and he was just not in any position to be able to swing at that pitch, although he swung at it late. The ball was already in the catcher's glove.
Here's Nick Swisher. Swisher, 304, 7 homers, 24 batted in. And it's a count of 0-1. Each inning against Santana, the leadoff man has hit a single. Jeter hit the first pitch of the game for a single in the first, but he never got past first. Cano over there now after his single. Change up along the right field line, hit well. Racing over is Francoeur. Yeah, and he's got it right at the foul line. Halfway to second was Cano, and he goes back to first. One away. We're going to go to Steve Berthium in the studio now for a Sports Center right now. Very good, Steve. And with Joe Morgan and Oral Hershiser, I'm John Miller from Citi Field, New York. Yankees nothing, Mets nothing. One out, runner at first. The bunt by Cervelli, foul back to the screen. Francisco Cervelli hitting .346 with no homers, 18 batted in. The veteran catcher Jorge Posada is on the disabled list right now. But Cervelli has just been sensational. He's an excellent defensive catcher to begin with. But the offense has been like a manna from heaven for Joe Girardi.
Yankees hitting coach Kevin Long right there has really tightened him up and simplified his swing, and he attributes his success to him. Very basic now at the plate, trying to eliminate a lot of movement in his hands, a lot of movement in the weight shift, a little less movement in the lower half of the body. And he ranks up there now with Jorge Posada out. This is one of the key ingredients why the Yankees have been able to battle through all their injuries.
0-2 the count. Cano at first, and the fastball inside.
And we often talk about, you know, this Subway Series and how excited the fans and everybody gets. I don't think they're quite as excited this year as they were before, and the reason is because I think the Yankee fans are worried about the Yankees who have issues, and the Mets fans are worried about the Mets who have issues. It's not about the intercity rivalry so much right now. It's about your individual teams. And each one of them have issues that they have to deal with. Of course, you just mentioned the Yankees. They have injuries, etc. They had lost 4 out of 5. And you talk about the Mets who have struggled. So their teams are a little more interested in their individual teams, the fans are, than they are just about this Subway Series.
The Yankees got swept by Tampa Bay at Yankee Stadium in a short series Wednesday and Thursday. Ooh, the changeup stayed with it and strikes out Cervelli. 2 down.
This is a nasty changeup. It is great arm speed. This Kia K-Zone will show you 78 miles an hour, but watch the ball sink. Usually when you throw a changeup, you have to take all that arm speed and you take it and you deflect the ball and spin it to give it depth. And Johan Santana right there took all that 90 mile an hour arm speed, deflected the ball, made it spin, and it had great movement.
Now Kevin Russo, the rookie who's in the outfield for the Yankees, and he takes a cold strike.
I'll tell you what, you watch this on the super slow-mo. the okay changeup, and then he pronates that's turning a ball like a screwball. And as that ball comes in, it is rotating extremely well, and that's what makes the ball dip and drop.
He comes back with a fastball. Right by him, it's 0-2.
And that's what Santana does so well, John. He keeps you off balance. He throws him a change up for the first pitch. He had not seen a fastball. Now he sees the fastball, and you're too late. And remember, Russo didn't see many change-ups like that in the minor leagues.
No, not at all.
Russo just got his first hit and his first RBIs as a major leaguer here on Friday. Into center field, Pagan. Basically came right to him. That's the inning. Another leadoff single, and then nothing for the Yankees. Santana, 2 shutout innings in the books. Sabathia back to the hill, no score. Nothing. The Mets nothing. And CC Sabathia back to the hill. He was living dangerously in the first inning. The Mets got the bases loaded against him with 1 out. Sabathia struck out David Wright and got Pagan to hit a soft liner to Cano. Now first ball swinging. That's a fair ball by Rod Barajas, who's had a history of success against Sabathia. Barajas trying for 2, and he gets 2. Just ahead of that throw from Russo.
One of the things I've noticed over the last couple of days has been that A-Rod plays way off the bag at third base. And when you're going to throw change-ups or curveballs, you have to give him a sign, because he was way off the line when this at-bat started. And Barajas hits it right down the line, and he decides that he can make 2 out of it. And he doesn't slow down, and he ends up at second base with a double. And a slow slide there. The slide kind of stopped him a little bit.
He needs landing gear next time. Yeah. That hurt.
But watch, see, even now, A-Rod they play off the line a lot. The Yankees do. And, I mean, that's a lot of area to be given up when a guy throws, a left-hander's pitching to right-handed hitters throwing change-ups and off-speed pitches.
Jeff Francoeur now with Barajas at second, nobody out. Blew a fastball right by him. It's 0-1. Francoeur hitting .215 with 5 homers and 23 runs batted in. By the way, that double by Barajas, he is now 9 for 20 in his career against Sabathia, 450 average. He had 3 homers against Sabathia. And he pours another fastball right by Francoeur.
This is not an easy situation for Francoeur. He wants to hit the ball on CC Sabathia to the right side of the infield. If you look at his directional hits, 17 of his hits to left field, 4 to center field, and 6 to right. So he is a dead pull hitter. Very hard for him to hit the ball to the right side unless he's just going to give it up and hit it weakly.
And he tantalizes him with a fastball a little bit off the outside. Well, maybe he ought to just give up and hit it weakly. The Mets might take that now with a 2-strike count.
I think you're right. Play a little pepper over there with Teixeira and Cano. Get the job done. Get the momentum and the mental side of the game on your favor.
Santana is not a bad hitting pitcher. He's on deck. But so it goes for Jeff Francoeur right now. Second strikeout for Santana. Red Sox head down to St. Petersburg, Florida to take on the Rays. Team with the best record in the majors right now. The Rays on ESPN Monday Night Baseball presented by Sears Lawn and Garden at 7 Eastern tomorrow night. Then the Yankees make their first trip to the brand new Target Field in Minneapolis. Yankees Twins Wednesday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern. Clay Buchholz, Wade Davis matched up tomorrow night. The Red Sox and Rays on Wednesday. The ageless one, Andy Pettitte, up against Francisco Liriano of the Twins. Outdoors in Minneapolis. Here is Santana. And it's quickly 0-1. I'll give him a lot of credit for being such a good hitter, but he's only had 2 hits in 16 at-bats this year. No score in the game. Each team's leadoff man in each inning has gotten a hit, but nobody has scored so far. Baraja still at second after getting his leadoff double. Santana showing bunt. Takes strike 2. Leadoff man Jose Reyes is on deck.
I don't think he really was going to bunt there. I think he was just trying to work a walk, 1-0 count. We'll see if he can surprise CC visually.
Piece of it. A little slider there from Sabathia. 2 strikes the count to Johan Santana. No score in the game. CC Sabathia and Johan Santana, each of them with sensational lifetime winning percentages. Santana has won 67% of his decisions. Sabathia 63% of his. And it's been very rare in the history of Major League Baseball to have 2 lefties with as many wins as they both do. Santana's won 125, Sabathia 140, to face each other. Only 3 other pairs of left-handed starters have opposed each other in a big league game in history, with both of them having at least 125 wins. Santana goes down on strikes, 2 down. There's the Shea Bridge out in right center field above the bullpen areas. Ike Davis hit one onto that bridge, which they estimated went at least 450 feet from home plate. And they brought over the old Mets sign with the Manhattan skyline from the old Shea Stadium. A relic from the old ballpark. This ballpark built in the parking lot just outside of Shea. Here's Jose Reyes, runner at second, 2 down, and ball 1 from Sabathia. Some of the matchups of left-handers who faced each other with winning percentages as high as Sabathia and Santana. Carl Hubble, Lefty Gomez in a World Series, 1937, 2 Hall of Famers. Lefty Grove and Lefty Gomez. Lefty Grove with the Red Sox, Gomez with the Yankees. Randy Johnson, Tom Glavine, more recently. When Johnson was with Arizona, Glavine with Atlanta. That's a base hit to left field. Barajas is not very fast, and he's going to be held up at third. The throw goes through, and it gets away, and would allow Reyes to go to second. Russo overthrew his cutoff man, and looked like it took a bad hop and skipped away from Cervelli.
And John, we talked about Reyes getting a couple of base hits yesterday, and now he has 2 in this ball game. Maybe he can get hot, and if he does, it'll change a lot of these low-scoring ball games for the Mets. And from the right side, he takes this, looks like a off-speed pitch. He reaches out and gets it and rips it into left field for a base hit. And the throw comes in. Russo throws it. A-Rod could not cut it off. It takes a high hop, and it bounces away from Cervelli. And that allows Reyes to go to second base, so someone will get an error on that play.
An error charged to Russo. So now Barajas at third, Reyes at second, and Alex Cora, the hitter. 0-1 the count. Cora popped up to short his first time. A late addition to the lineup when Luis Castillo had to be scratched. He's had a bone bruise on his left foot that's been giving him some trouble.
Alex Cora got a base hit last night in a pinch hitting role to put an insurance run on the board for the Mets.
And a slider in there for a called strike too. So for the second inning in a row, Sabathia and a jam. This time, runners at second and third. Bases were loaded in the first inning. The Mets, with runners in scoring position, hitting .245. That's 14th out of 16 teams in the National League. They've not done well in these spots. Ooh, that was awfully close. I want to see K-zone on that one.
Left on left, fastball inside. Does it catch the corner? Oh, good call. I want it if I'm on the mound.
Marvin Hudson, the plate umpire, thought that one was an inch or two off the inside, and K-zone agreed. 1-2. And a foul on that fastball. 94 miles an hour from Sabathia. 1-2. The Mets had the two chances with the bases loaded in the first inning. Wright struck out. Pagan hit a soft liner to second. In this inning, they had a runner in scoring position to begin the inning. A double by Barajas. Francoeur struck out. The pitcher, Santana, struck out. Reyes got the hit with the runner in scoring position, but it didn't score him. He's a runner, but not a real fast runner. Now Alex Cora, a left-handed pitcher facing the left-hander. Sabathia. Cora does not often face the lefties. Only 9 at-bats for the year coming into this game against lefties. Pulls that one foul. Still 1 ball and 2 strikes. Mets have had their own injury problems. They're still missing Carlos Beltran, their regular center fielder. Gold Glove quality outfielder with power, speed. Adds a lot to the lineup and to the defense. But right now their pitching staff, especially the rotation, is decimated with injuries. But they got the ace on the mound tonight, Santana, and they're trying to support him a little bit here. Give him a lead against Sabathia. Slider in the dirt, blocked by Cervelli, keeping Barajas at third.
Well, you go with the pitch selection there, the breaking ball. Cervelli, a lot of confidence in him to block the ball, breaking ball in the dirt. Cora had just pulled the breaking ball foul, so you know he's reading the breaking ball in the spin, so you hope he commits to the spin and you put it in a tough place to hit, but he laid off.
Cora, by the way, is hitting .353 for the year with runners in scoring position. Got a couple of them out there right now. And that's a base hit. Barajas scores and Reyes speeding around third, right behind him. 2-0 Mets.
And that's what you call an excellent at-bat with runner in scoring position, because he fought off his best pitches, and then Sabathia got a fastball up. It looked like he tried to get it in on him. He got it up a little bit, and he was able to fight it off enough to get a semi-line drive. See, it's a fastball in. He got it in. He didn't get it up as much as he wanted, I don't think, but he was able to fight it off and flare it into right center and drive in 2 runs. But that was an excellent at-bat by Alex Cora.
2-0 Mets. The man who was not supposed to be in the lineup is the man who gets the big hit to give them the lead. And there's ball 1 too low to Jason Bay. Bay walked his first time. Bay has had hits in each of his last 5 at bats, official at bats, plus the walk in this game, hitting .298. Cora is not much of a base stealing threat, has not stolen a base this year. And that's a called strike. I'm not making a comment about his speed or anything. I'm just looking at the record.
He has not been the fastest guy in his career, but he's been very crafty and intelligent player. You talk manager when you talk Alex Cora, as far as when he retires, but he feels like he's going to play for a while to come still.
There he goes. Cervelli's throw. His first steal of the year.
The one thing you can do as a base runner against left-handed pitchers, you just take off on his first move. You don't try to read whether he's coming to first base or going home. His first movement, you just take off. And if you do that, you have a chance of being safe. With most left-handers, Sabathia doesn't have a high leg kick, although he does a little higher there than normal. And you can see that Cervelli really didn't have a good shot at throwing Cora out at second base. Interesting that Cano trying to block it with his knee. His left knee down there trying to block it.
I like that.
Because if a guy comes in head first, you can block it. If he comes in spike first, I bet that knee's not down there.
But now, who does that now?
Yeah.
Guy's always going.
Well, watch him. He takes his knee and he drops it down. He probably wanted to drop it in front of the bag. He didn't quite get it there. But he makes him slide to the outside. He'll know where he is and try to make the tag, and he couldn't do so. Cervelli made a great throw on Friday night to get Cora, who tried to steal against him.
Bay, high and deep, left center field. Way back there, and gone! A home run for Jason Bay. It's a 4-run inning for the Mets.
That's one of those low pitches that we talk about that a guy with an uppercut can really do some damage on. Teixeira does damage on this pitch. Bay does damage on this low pitch. They both, because of the uppercut swings, when they get it, it goes.
They had a threat in the first inning and could not cash in. And a threat here in the second inning, and they get 2 consecutive 2-out RBI hits. It's a 4-run inning. And here's Ike Davis. And that's ball 1 from Sabathia.
Let's take a look at these, at a couple of replays on the pitch to Bay. See, it's down, and see that uppercut swing? I mean, he swings. Watch this swing. Watch how he goes after this ball. An uppercut swing, and that's the reason that he can handle the low pitch so well. Players that do not have that big uppercut do not handle the low pitch nearly as well as Jason Bay or Mark Teixeira, because they both have the uppercut.
So Bay with his second home run of the year, and maybe it's starting to come together for him. He's been getting the hits, he's been getting the average up, but without the power. The Mets' 18th home run in their 25th home game. You see that swing again that Joe was talking about.
Well, this ball was crushed, and even I'm thinking, is it going to make it here? That's how big this ballpark plays, and you've got to hit it over a double wall out there.
And the breaking ball for the strikeout of Ike Davis. But a 4-run inning for the Mets. Sabathia is coming up, then Jeter against Santana. 4-0 Mets.
the all-new 2011 Super Duty, built Ford Tough. And One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB, specially formulated for men.
That's the Queensboro Bridge connecting Manhattan to the borough of Queens. It's 101 years old, originally known as the Blackwell's Island Bridge. It was the very first link between Queens and Manhattan. And there's Manhattan, and you see in the foreground there the lights delineating the Queensboro Bridge as seen from Citi Field in Corona Park, Flushing Meadows, Queens. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Oral Hershiser. And Johan Santana with a 4-0 lead as CC Sabathia comes up. Sabathia was kind of excited about Interleague play in the National League Park and the chance to hit. He's a good hitter, 261 lifetime average. Has not had many chances to hit, having spent most of his career in the American League, but that's a pretty good cut, Joe.
Well, he was a great hitter in high school. I mean, he was a great hitter. Long ball, did everything. Hit for high average and hit home runs.
Just an all-around good athlete, good football player, good basketball player. Tributes to his mom, his humility. Margie, that you got to hit or you dunk the ball. That's nothing, big boy. Go do it again. It's a little uppercut, like you say, Joe.
A little tardy too, though.
1-2.
He's a little late on that one as well.
Well, he's had 92 regular season at-bats, 24 hits, including 3 home runs, 14 runs batted in.
Well, he told me he was a great high school hitter. Now I'm just taking his word for it.
Well, we're talking slugging percentage and everything with him here. Broken back. Reyes can't get to it, and Pagan, he can't get there either. Sabathia with a broken bat single.
Joe just waved me off. I get to analyze the pitch and swing.
Man, I don't analyze pitches.
Gets out in front. He's a little tardy. I think he hit that one off the end of the bat. Let's see. He gets the foot down. A little late. Not bad.
Hey, it's a base hit.
It's a knock, and it was a broken bat. Very good extension. Stayed on the ball and threw it. Gave himself a chance. Made a little contact.
Sabathia. The batting average goes up still further as Derek Jeter comes up. He hit the first pitch of the night for a single to center. He's 1 for 1. Fastball, a strike to him.
Now, I don't think I've ever seen Derek Jeter when his batting average was this low. I know it has been because he got up to a slow start a couple of years. But I didn't see him play those times. And I've been watching him all weekend, and he is just not the same at this moment.
That's down the right field line. It's another hit for Jeter. Santana is going to stop at second. Santana didn't get exactly a great read on that one. Or Sabathia, I beg your pardon. Sabathia doing the base running there. Santana doing the pitching in this inning. But Sabathia did not get a real good read on that ball.
But I was going to say, I think this is a perfect guy for Jeter to hit against. A left-handed pitcher whose main source of chance of getting him out is a fastball and a changeup. He can't throw the fastball by him, and Jeter handles off-speed pitches well. So I think this is a perfect matchup for Jeter at this time, when he's been struggling a little bit.
Well, especially in his career, he's worn Santana out.
Well, see, there are certain pitchers, they don't have a certain pitch to be able to get you out with. Jeter can handle his fastball, and he's also a good off-speed hitter.
Getting close to 500 lifetime against Santana. Here is Brett Gardner, 2 men on, nobody out. That's a called strike at the knees. Jeter is 8 for 11 against Santana since Santana became a Met. So as good as he was against Santana when Santana was a Twin, he's been even better against him since Santana changed leagues. Brett Gardner struck out his first time. 0-1 the count. And the slider, that is a little too high. A ball on the strike.
You see what he did there, John? He dropped down a little bit on the left-hander, meaning Santana. He wants to give them a little different look. Again, if you're not going to throw a lot of breaking balls, you have to do something to deceive the left-handed hitter. Otherwise, you're just like a right-hander to them.
4-0. The Mets are leading. Teixeira on deck. And a ground ball foul. Perhaps something we should talk about. And fans are saying, wait a minute, he's not a power hitter. Why not bunt him and move the runners over with the power hitters coming up? But CC Sabathia is the runner at second base.
Yeah, you don't want to get your pitcher hurt. He's going to be very hard with his speed to get over there on a bunt. Remember, Gardner tried to bunt, thought about bunting in his first at bat against Santana. Almost got hit.
But remember, this is the American League.
It's going to take 2 singles to score CC or a double.
This is the American League. They do not sacrifice a lot.
1-2 the count. That's a double play ball. Here's one. Reyes back to first. 2, a double play, even with the great speed of Gardner. Quick feed by Cora, and then Reyes completed it.
Well, in order to double up a speedy runner, it has to be one of the throws has to be a short throw. And it was a short throw to second base by Cora because he backhanded it to Reyes very quickly. You can't get 2 long throws. So it's a short throw and a long throw. That's the only way you're going to double up, because if you have 2 long throws, you're not going to get him. Ball hit near the bag, quick release, and a little 2-step there by Reyes to get in position to throw it.
David Wright throws out Teixeira. So they had 2 on and nobody out, and just like that, on 2 pitches, the inning is over. David Wright is coming up. 4-0. The Mets lead the Yankees. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell. It's the all-New York Interleague Series. The Mets and Yankees, the Subway Series. And the Mets with a 4-run second-inning rally. 2 out hits, a 2-run single by Cora, followed by Jason Bay's 2-run homer. 4-0 as CC Sabathia has struggled in each of the first 2 innings of this game. A bases-loaded jam that he got out of in the first. And then immediately in trouble in the second, and ultimately he could not get out of it. So here he is to face David Wright. He struck him out in the first with the bases loaded. Sabathia has already thrown 45 pitches in this game. A strike with a fastball. Sabathia won 19 games last year, and then seemed to be just as fresh as if it were still early in the season. In October and into November, he was sensational in the postseason, leading the Yankees along the way. And there's a curveball in there at the knees for a strike, and David Wright seems to question that call by Marvin Hudson.
Well, we talked about it his first at bat. It's like he's in between. Again, he was late on the fastball, so he couldn't pull the trigger on the first pitch. And he's early on that curveball, so he gave up on it, and then it breaks over the plate.
So quickly, no balls, 2 strikes. The high fastball. 1-2. Angel Pagan is on deck. Rod Barajas also due up in this inning. The Mets will be hosting the Philadelphia Phillies starting Tuesday. This first interleague interlude only lasting this weekend around baseball. Chased that high fastball, and that's out of play off to the right.
You know, I was coached with Rudy Jaramillo, the great hitting coach now with the Cubs that was with the Rangers. And one of the things he used to say, Joe, about guys that are in between, it's their front foot a lot of times. And David Wright has a big heel kick in his swing where his heel is really high. He gets the front foot down early, but he doesn't get the heel down. And Rudy always said, your foot's not down until your heel's down.
David Wright down on strikes for the second straight time.
If David gets his foot down early, when he gets it down in time, which means the ball's not there yet, but then when that heel goes down like that, it's a timing device for David. But he was working with Rudy in the cage. I know I was in there a lot listening to him. He'd always say that front foot is not down until that heel is down. And it can mess with your timing.
Here's Angel Pagan. Jeter can't get to it. Base hit for Pagan. That ball was hit hard. Jeter, who, according to the ultimate zone rating, his range has gone up the last couple of years, but he's had a hard time going to his left on a couple of balls tonight.
I don't know anything about zone ratings and all that. I just use the eye test, as they say. I just watch a guy and, you know, see how he's moving, and he didn't get a good jump on that ball. But, you know, you have to wonder, is something wrong with him, or did he not pick the ball up quickly enough on that ground ball?
So you're wondering if maybe he's hurting a little bit.
Yeah. Well, you never know.
He won the Gold Glove last year.
The first ball wasn't hit as hard as that one.
I don't know about Derek, but we all play hurt when we're out there in the game. It's just, are you injured and can't play? So we know nothing about his health, but he has definitely gotten weaker jumps on those 2 balls hit up the middle.
Remember, the Yankees, for a little over a week anyway, they were without their numbers 2, 6, 7, and 8 hitters in their regular lineup. Nick Swisher got back on Thursday, and they're still right here through this weekend series with the Mets without their numbers 2, 7, and 8 hitters, or 2, 6, and 8. Anyway, 3 of their regular 9 hitters have been missing. They got Posada on the disabled list, the catcher, Granderson, the center fielder, Nick Johnson. Johnson may be lost for the season. And that fastball down and in. Pagan at first, Barajas, who led off that 4-run second inning with a double. See Granderson there, hoping he might be able to come back by maybe as early as Friday. And he's on a rehab assignment right now. Played his second game today, his first in the field. Posada not expected back until mid-June. Nick Johnson out indefinitely. And the list goes on. Barajas into right center field. That's the wide open spaces in this yard. And the Swisher takes it. Barajas retired, 2 down, and now Jeff Francoeur. Ended up being quite a move bringing in Rod Barajas. The Mets had talked with Benji Molina, who ended up re-signing with the Giants. They could not come to an arrangement. And reportedly they got Barajas for a lot less than they were willing to pay Benji Molina. Barajas has hit 10 home runs already. He leads the club.
Well, the Giants are lucky they were able to keep Molina, and the Mets are lucky that they were able to get Barajas.
And they brought him in as a veteran catcher for the finger pointing. He was very good with the hand behind the plate that guide this pitching staff, but the bat has been a great surprise. He's having a career year with the bat.
Molina, meanwhile, although he was hitting well for average to start the season, is in a profound slump right now for the Giants. Has not had an RBI in 18 days.
Most of the Giants are in a slump, aren't they? They lose 1-0 twice in the last couple of.
Left center field off the bat of Francoeur, Russo, and the Mets go down with 1 hit, 1 left to the 4th inning. A-Rod coming up, then Cano. The Yankees are down 4-0. A-Rod against Santana when we come back. Finals in 3 years. They face Dwight Howard and the Magic tomorrow night, Game 4 of the NBA playoffs Eastern Conference Finals at 8:30 Eastern. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with the Kia NBA shoot-around. Alex Rodriguez chases that low slider from Santana. 0-1. A-Rod popped up to second his first time. Cano on deck, and then Swisher due up third in the inning. And that one missed somewhere. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Yankees have had a leadoff hit in each of the first 3 innings of this game, but only 1 hit after getting somebody on base. Santana's been better out of the stretch tonight than at the start of each inning when he's pitching for the windup.
For the last 5 games, I mean, the Yankees have really struggled with runners in scoring position. They lost 4 of those games. They were actually 12 for 56 in those situations.
That's just barely over 200 as a team for batting average, and that's caught by Francoeur. A-Rod ended up taking an off-balance swing and popping the ball up.
And they were 1 for 8 on Friday night, John, even though they won the ball game. The 1 base hit drove in a couple of runs. And then they were 3 for 14 yesterday with runners in scoring position. So they have been struggling with runners in scoring position, even though over the course of the season they were much better. The last 5 games they have not been hitting well with runners in scoring position.
Santana has thrown only 9 pitches out of 40 that have not been in the strike zone, or had some pitches end up not in the strike zone but get swung at.
They start him off right there with a slider, trying to show the breaking ball every once in a while, but he is pounding the strike zone. He's got excellent command of his changeup tonight.
Cano led off the second with a single, hitting .341 for the year. In foul territory, David Wright. He's under it. And that is out number 2. Santana, we saw him 3 weeks ago tonight in Philadelphia. His worst night as a major league pitcher. He allowed more runs to the Phillies, 10 in 3 2/3 innings, than in any other start he's ever made. 4 home runs were hit. Ryan Howard hitting one there. Victorino hit a grand slam. That was part of a 9-run 4th inning rally. And Chase Utley also launched one, a tape measure shot. And the Mets scored some runs for him that night, too. Could not hold either one of a couple of leads in that game.
There was a seesaw battle, and he got mostly his fastball hit that night. He had poor fastball location.
Swisher lines one to left, caught by Bay. 7-pitch inning for Santana, who is on a roll now, leading 4-0. We'll visit with Yankee manager Joe Girardi from the Yankee dugout in 60 seconds. Yankee manager Joe Girardi, but he has otherwise been engaged, so we apologize for that and hope everything's all right down there. The Mets lead the Yankees 4-0 here at Citi Field as we head into the last half of the 4th inning. A 4-run 2nd inning rally for the Mets. A 2-run 2-out single by Alex Cora, followed by a 2-run homer by Jason Bay. I'm John Miller with Joe Morgan and Oral Hershiser. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball. And in that 2nd inning, after the 2-run single by Cora, we had just mentioned that he had not stolen a base this year, and Joe, he then stole one.
Well, I think he just took off on first movement. There's 2 ways you steal a base off the left-hander. You read his motion to see which way he's going, home or to first, or you just take off on the first movement. Watch him. He'll take off the first move as soon as he's starting. As soon as Sabathia started his leg kick, he started for second base. He wasn't waiting to try to read him. And that's how you get a good jump. Although Sabathia has a shorter stride than a lot of pitchers, you can still take off because left-handers are slower to the plate than right-handed pitchers are. And that's generally speaking, of course.
Here is Johan Santana, the Mets pitcher, and that's in there for a called strike. Johan Santana struck out his first time. Santana has won just over 2/3 of all of his career decisions. 125 wins, only 62 losses. Jeter. Santana is gone, 1 down. His career record gives him the 4th highest winning percentage for any major league pitcher, lefty or righty, since 1900. We're talking about Whitey Ford, a former Yankee, the chairman of the board, a Hall of Famer. Pedro Martinez, who played for the Mets, and Lefty Grove. And there they are. Whitey Ford won 69% of his games. And Pedro just under that, 68.7%. And then Lefty Grove, 68%. Santana's won 66.8% so far in his career. So the man's done a lot of winning. And not so many wins here in the last, 3 weeks or so. And I think he's kind of focused on this game, perhaps for that reason, but also the last time he faced the Yankees last year, one of the worst beatings that he'd ever absorbed in his career. They put 9 on the board against him. Very similar to the game he had against the Phillies 3 weeks ago.
You think about Johan Santana, though, and the team, the quality of the teams he's played for. He's earned a lot of those wins on his own. 125 wins, Minnesota Twins and the Mets, and you're not talking about championship teams all the time.
Well, he hasn't won a game since April 27th. He beat the Dodgers.
Jose Reyes, the hitter. And Reyes has had 2 hits in this game already. He fueled that 4-run second inning round. In fact, he got a hit with a runner in scoring position, although it didn't score the runner, Rod Barajas, who's just not very fast. But that was a key hit that extended that inning and allowed Cora to hit the 2-run single, and finally they hit the 2-run homer. So Reyes with 2 more hits in this game. And you mentioned it a couple of times, Joe. He had 2 hits here last night as well. And a lot of talk about David Wright and all of his strikeouts and that sort of thing. But he is hitting home runs. He is driving in runs. Those numbers are good, as you pointed out at the top of the telecast. But Reyes just seems like such a huge key. A lot of things just flow from Reyes getting on base 38%, 40% of the time, stealing bases, rattling pitchers, making the middle infielders anxious.
Well, John, when you have a dynamic leadoff hitter as Reyes is, it changes the whole game. It's even more important than just a normal leadoff hitter who doesn't steal bases, who doesn't make a lot of things happen.
Mark Teixeira. That's all for Reyes. First time he's been retired in this game. Well, Reyes, when he'd been healthy and doing that thing he has done so well, 4th in the league in hits from 2005 through 2008, 4th in runs, leading the league in triples, leading the league in stolen bases.
See, the only thing that's of importance to me there is the runs. That's really important because that's his job. If he gets on base, you steal bases to put yourself in position to score runs. You don't steal the bases just for numbers. So the runs are a result in part of what he's, of his stealing bases here and there. But, a leadoff hitter's job is to score runs.
There's so many things that speed does. You talk about having a dynamic player at the top of the order. As a pitcher, when you face somebody like that, it immediately almost takes you out of your rhythm. You haven't even thrown the first pitch of the game, and you're worried about getting this guy out. You don't want to get in the stretch. You want to be able to use your whole repertoire, and you've got him over there possibly leading off with the speed, and then he might steal a base. And if he doesn't come back up again leading off, he can steal a base, not hit into double play, make contact, hard to strike out. They wreak havoc on you emotionally and with your rhythm.
So who gave you the most trouble?
Well, at that time it was like a Vince Coleman in St. Louis was amazing.
So he bugged you.
Well, you had Tommy Herr hitting third, hit less than 10 home runs, still drove in 100 runs. You had Ozzie Smith and Vince Coleman at the top of that order. They were just a bunch of fleet-running guys. Whitey Herzog managing that team. That was a very hard team to pitch to because on the AstroTurf, they could just pound it in the turf and run, beat you.
I mean, Vince Coleman at that time was, if he decided to steal you, what could you do to stop him? You almost
stole over 100 bags.
You just couldn't stop him. And Alex Cora fights one off. It's 0-2 here, making Sabathia work. Son, what about Joe Morgan? Did Joe ever get a bag against you?
You know what? Joe was tough to get out in Stratomatic. Because I'd spin that spinner, and he had these big places where there are base hits and home run. Number 1 on Stratomatic, when you spun it around, these kids would listen like, spun it around? Yeah, you had to spin it with your finger. And by the end of the game, 9 innings, extra innings, you had blood blisters on your fingers from spinning that thing.
You're going to get letters on that one. That's not Stratomatic. That was a different game. That's the inning. we know Stratomatic.
Stratomatic.
Jerry Manuel. We're hoping to visit with Jerry Manuel live from the dugout in 60 seconds. Yankees 4-0 as we head to the 5th inning. And as I say, we were hoping to visit with Jerry Manuel. Apparently, he's been called away. At least he has left the dugout. So, again, we apologize. We were told before the game that we would be able to chat with both of them. So, such has not been the case. And here we go to the 5th inning with the Yankees trailing 4-0 to Johan Santana, who has looked in vintage form so far.
It's been brilliant, and it comes down to command, and tonight he's had better command than CC Sabathia. He has been outstanding.
Well, Jerry Manuel is with us now. Jerry, welcome to Sunday Night Baseball.
Oh, thank you, John.
Jerry Oral Hershiser, got to be comfortable to have Johan out there on his game tonight.
Yeah, I feel very good about that. I mean, he's been somewhat economical with his pitches, hadn't had high pitch counts. I think that big double play ball was huge for us.
And how about Jose Reyes on his game also? Amazing.
Yeah. If we can get, like 2 out of the 3 of our big guys going, we can prevent, we can make some trouble for the offense, for the opposing team. So, looks like we're doing pretty good right now.
Jerry, we'll let you get back to work. Many thanks.
Right, appreciate it.
That's manager Jerry Manuel, live from the Mets dugout, presented by Edward Jones.
Take your apology back, John. Don't have to apologize anymore.
I'm not sorry, and I never was. Francisco Cervelli with a count of 1 ball and 1 strike. He struck out his first time. David Wright hugs the line at third against him. And that's out of play. So it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kevin Russo is on deck, and then CC Sabathia is due up third in the inning. 4 hits for the Yankees in this game, all in the first 3 innings.
Well, you see that, as you said, David Wright's hugging the line there a lot closer than A-Rod. A-Rod plays off the line. The Yankees have their third baseman play off the line against just about every hitter.
Shallow right, Cora giving chase toward the foul line. And Cervelli is 0 for 2.
Well, a pitcher's duel. We started out advertising this night, and it might have come down to the command, and so far Santana's command has been better. Check the 4-seam fastball. Elevates when he needs to Alex Rodriguez there, gets the pop-up. Now the changeup. Outstanding depth and command right there. On the corner, outside to right-hand hitters. And showing the third pitch, the slider now. That one a little up, but good late movement. You know what? If they get a hit, it's a hanger. If they make an out, nice pitch.
I'm going to apologize. Maybe he doesn't need a third pitch.
Everybody's apologizing. I got to find one.
Sorry, Oral.
No, I have to do it. I have to issue it, John.
Well, I'm sorry that we didn't get that for you already. Yeah. Please accept my apology. Kevin Russo, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Russo had a night to remember here on Friday. His first major league hit. He came in as a part of a double switch. Got a hit, got that out of the way, and then hit a 2-run double that ended up driving in the only runs the Yankees got, and they won that game 2-1. So his first big RBIs in the big leagues were clutch.
Well, you dream about becoming a big leaguer, and I know there's a lot of people in this area dream about being a New York Yankee. And then you do something clutch. It's a lifetime memory after a lifetime dream. I got to get Gary Carter out in my first major league out. Ground ball to shortstop. Bill Russell over to Greg Brock. Caught it, and I was a big leaguer.
Well, that was a good one.
Gary Hall of Famer.
Yeah. 2-2 the count. Ooh, the changeup. 2 down. Let's go to Steve Berthium in the studio for a Sports Center right now. Well, our hearts go out to his wife and family. Tragically, all too early death for Jose Lima. And just 11 years ago that he won 21 games for the Houston Astros and was one of the top pitchers in the National League.
And it really struck Jose Reyes hard today because Jose said he was a guy he could always call and talk to whenever he had a problem. And so he felt very sorry for his family and his loss as well.
He was always a great teammate, a lot of fun to watch, whether he was pitching well or poorly. He was so much fun as far as his antics on the mound and also just the way he was so competitive.
Jose Reyes played with Jose Lima here with the Mets in 2006. David Wright, of course, was on that club. John Mayne was on that team. That's all for Sabathia, who singled his first time. And Johan Santana is on a roll. The further we go into the game, the better he seems to get. Jason Bay, Ike Davis, David Wright coming up. Run, second inning for the Mets against CC Sabathia. And here is Jason Bay to lead things off in the fifth inning. He has walked and hit that home run out into left center field. Bay has, in particular, been hot here in his new home ballpark, albeit not home run hot, but a very hot hitter in his last 15 games here. And he's also had 6 hits in his last 6 at-bats. That ball is hit well. Deep right center field. Way back there. And goodbye! Another home run for Jason Bay. He had hit 1 in 43 games, and now he hits 2 in 2 at-bats.
Well, Jason Bay has always showed that he could go the other way and drive the ball as he does here. A lot of guys that go the other way, it's a line drive or they do not drive the ball. But he can drive the ball in all directions, which is one of the reasons the Mets wanted him. He had 36 home runs, 119 runs batted in last year for Boston.
To go opposite field into the bullpen like that in this ballpark, that's pretty impressive.
I think that's why Rod Ross was smiling at him so much. Boy, you know, hit it out the left here, but hit it out the right, you're strong.
Ike Davis on a pop-up. Cervelli hustles over. Can't get there.
Now let's take a look at this pitch to Bay. It's away. It looks like it was away. It's a fastball away and just goes the other way. I mean, he has always been a very good fastball hitter. You see that slight uppercut even there on his swing. That's the way he swings. And just drives it out of the ballpark. As John said, that's a long way hitting to the opposite field here in Citi Field. But he had 4 hits in yesterday's ball game. So he's hot.
It's almost like the final piece of the mysterious early season of a proven slugger, Jason Bay. Because it wasn't so long ago he wasn't hitting for batting average either. He wasn't just not hitting at all. And now he got the average up, getting base hits, singles, doubles, that sort of thing. Now the power has arrived.
Well, he has always been a streaky hitter. You know, when he gets hot, I mean, he's on fire. And right now he seems to be on fire. And that bodes well. If he can stay hot and you get Jose Reyes to get on base, the Mets could score a lot of runs.
Mike Davis hitting that slider into shallow right center field, and it drops! Brett Gardner was playing very deep for Ike Davis and could not get there. And Cano tried to make that over-the-shoulder catch, and nobody could get it. Cano was the closest one.
Well, I don't think he could have dropped this any more perfectly than Davis does. I mean, it's right in between. You see, Cano goes out right away. He didn't hesitate. And Gardner saw he couldn't get there. Swisher couldn't get there. The only one that had a chance was Cano, and he couldn't make the catch. And there's always you always try to avoid a collision there as well.
Now David Wright, who has struck out twice against Sabathia. And that one lost by Cervelli. And likely a pass ball there. It looks like he might have been crossed up by Sabathia. He's going to go out and talk to CC.
And out comes Joe Girardi, too.
A little cross up here. Looks like Cervelli is maybe thinking 4-seamer, and he gets a change-up or a 2-seamer, because that ball went towards the left-handed batter's box, and Cervelli was thinking that ball might cut a little bit.
MLB.TV, baseball everywhere. Get over 100 live out-of-market games per week in HD quality where available on your computer. Visit MLB.TV for details. Citi Field all filled up for the third time. The All-New York Interleague Series, the Yankees and the Mets. They'll meet again in June over at Yankee Stadium. That ball is hammered to left field with topspin, but over the head of Russo. Coming around third is Ike Davis, and into second with a double is David Wright. 3 straight hits to start the inning against Sabathia. 6-0 Mets.
Well, the reason this ball didn't go out, he hit it hard enough, but the reason this ball doesn't go out as compared to Jason Bay's, this ball, he gets a lot of top spin on that ball. You see the uppercut, and he hits the back of the ball, which imparts top spin on it, and it doesn't go out. That ball was hit awfully hard. He thought it was hit hard enough, but as soon as it got out there, it started to sink. And that ball did not carry out like Jason Bay's did. Jason Bay got a little underspin on his last one.
10th double of the year for David Wright, and his 33rd run batted in. Angel Pagan having to bend it back away from that one. David Wright tied for 5th in the league in RBIs as Sergio Mitre, a right-hander, starts to warm up in the Yankee bullpen. CC Sabathia is getting lit up here. 2-0.
It's interesting. I watched part of the Phillies game today against Boston, and Roy Halladay, he gave up 7 runs. He was having some problems today. They didn't play great defense, but he got knocked around a little bit.
CC Sabathia getting knocked around by the Mets. 6 runs against him in 4+ innings, and still nobody out here with 2 runs in the 5th inning.
He hasn't won in his last 3 outings. Had a loss and 2 no decisions. His last outing he left leading 5-1, and the bullpen gave it up. And he gave up 1 run in 7 innings. But tonight he just does not have it. The location on the fastball has been slightly up and towards the middle of the plate. The breaking ball has been there, but it's not real extra sharp. It doesn't have that extra gear that really gets the hitters off, and the changeup really hasn't been there.
With 6 runs allowed, that equals the most he has given up in a game this year. 2 starts ago, the Tigers put a 6 spot on him. He went 6 innings in that game and left the game trailing 6-0. That's kind of where the Yankees started struggling. They lost 3 out of 4 in Detroit. They took 2 out of 3 this past weekend from the Twins. Cervelli may have something in his eye back behind the plate. And Gene Monahan. And this warms the hearts of a lot of people, I think, seeing Gene Monahan back in the dugout, the veteran trainer of the Yankees. He's been battling for his life against cancer, but back in the dugout now. He's the Yankee trainer. Out to see if he could be of some assistance to Francisco Cervelli. 3-1 the count to Angel Pagan. David Wright at second base. Jeter in shallow left. That is the first out. Pagan is now 1 for 3. And the powerful Rod Barajas will come up. And Sabathia, in fact, it was 2 weeks ago when we were at Fenway Park, the Yankees had won the first 2 games of that series from the Red Sox, and it clobbered them 2 days in a row. Since then, they've gone 5-9. Went to Detroit, lost 3 out of 4, as we said. This week, they split a 2-game series with the Red Sox at Yankee Stadium. Lost 2 in a row to the high-flying Rays. And they split the first 2 games here and are trailing 6-0 in the 5th inning of this game, which doesn't look real good when you're facing a guy like Johan Santana. The changeup is low to Rod Barajas, who hit a double down the left field line his first time and scored the first of those 4 second-inning runs. He flied out to right center his next time. 6 runs and 10 hits for the Mets against Sabathia.
You talk about the New York Mets and you talk about what could turn this season around. They're sitting in last place, 6 games out. But if David Wright gets hot, Jose Reyes gets hot, Jerry Emanuel now has some pieces to work with. And then you talk about, some of the pitching, Santana, Pelfrey. The rest of the rotation is going to have to get healthy and get it turned around. But they were 5-11 in 1-run games coming into the night. So they're real close to flipping this over if some of the bats can wake up and they can get some consistent starting pitching. And Jason Bay starts hitting the ball at the ballpark. He's got 4 hits last night. Very, very hot. Mike Davis, the 4-hole hitter, the rookie, smiling and relaxed now.
Well, they also have a kid, Daniel Murphy, down in the minor leagues. Murphy went 5 for 5 today in Port St. Lucie. Hit a home run a couple of days ago, so they're thinking about moving him up to Buffalo. So he could come up and provide some offense as well.
The first place Phillies here starting Tuesday for a 3-game series, as they are going to walk Francoeur intentionally with the pitcher Johan Santana on deck. So they'll have a chance to do something head-to-head against the first place Phillies for the next 3 days, or the next 3 home games starting Tuesday. Atlanta, second place in the division. Florida and Washington tied for third. The Mets last place in the division, but if they win this game, they'd be only 1 game under 500.
Now the key with the Met turnaround then, it goes to the pitching. If the offense can get going like we're seeing tonight, he's got Santana and Pelfrey, and then John Maine has gone on to the DL. Neese is out, he's on the DL. Oliver Perez has been shipped to the bullpen. R.A. Dickey is now in the rotation. So they're going to need some help, and they're going to need some patchwork in that rotation.
On one the count to Santana with 2 men on and 2 men out. When the year began, it was Santana, Pelfrey, John Maine, Oliver Perez, and Jonathan Neese. Well, both Neese and Maine are now on the disabled list, and Perez has been moved to the bullpen. He was so ineffective as a starter. So already the rotation has become a shell of what they had hoped to see at the beginning of the year.
Well, did you see that note that Roy Oswalt asked for a trade in Houston? Might be someone that they could go out and get. He is obviously one of the better starters in Major League Baseball.
Takahashi filled in admirably here on Friday in the rotation. 6 shutout innings.
And he threw the ball exceptionally well, John. I was here that night, but he was really, really good.
He was a starting pitcher in the Japanese leagues before he came over here. He'd been a reliever for the Mets, but seemed to be very comfortable as a starter. And R.A. Dickey, a knuckleballer, had been brought up. Raul Valdez may make a start for them with the Phillies in town here.
They have the young 20-year-old flamethrower in the bullpen, Mejia, who was in last night in relief and very good in the setup role, but they're thinking at some time maybe they might take him down to the minor leagues and extend him out, thinking his long-term future could be as a starter.
I don't think that could help him as much this year, though, because it takes a while to develop stamina, to be a starter. I mean, it's something for the future. I'm not sure that you do that even now, because you're not going to get much dividend out of it for this year. You may be able to prepare him for next year to be a starter.
Didn't work that well a couple years ago with Jabba Chamberlain when the Yankees tried to do that at midseason. We're heading to the 6th inning. Jason Bay having his biggest night as a Met. 2 home runs against CC Sabathia.
Coverage.
New York and Broadway. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And it's always a thrill to come to New York.
We've seen that today. We were staying down there at Times Square.
Well, John, I was at Times Square yesterday, and the naked cowboy was out there playing his guitar, and then they had a naked cowgirl.
Excuse me?
Yeah, they were both out there playing, but the cowgirl wasn't on the square. She was on the sidewalk. I don't know if the territory is I don't know if if the cowboy owns Times Square,
Did you get
a patent.
Did you get some video of that?
No, I just was walking around and saw it.
So a naked cowgirl sighting by Joe Morgan.
There was a cowgirl sighting. Well, I mean, she was dressed as the naked cowboy does. She had briefs on and cowboy boots and a hat. and was playing.
We need to get you one of those iPhones so you can get a shot the next time you get a sighting like that. Derek Jeter retired for the first time. He had hit 2 singles earlier. Jeter and the Yankees anxious to see Jeter start getting base hits again. He had not had too many these last couple of weeks.
And see again that Santana really doesn't have a pitch to get him out with, as long as Jeter's patient and, does not swing at a lot of bad pitches. When he gets a pitch in the strike zone, he's going to hit it hard. I mean, that's just the way it works with he and Santana.
Here is Brett Gardner. Well, Jeter now with 8 hits in his last 12 at-bats against Santana. Since Santana left the Twins and became a Met, Jeter, who always hit him hard when he was a Twin, has hit him even harder. And tonight, 2 of his 3 at-bats have been determined in the first pitch. He hit the first pitch of the game for a single to center. This time, a line drive to right field. But as you say, he hit it very hard again.
Well, he stays inside the fastball, drives the fastball to right field, and then you think, okay, if he gets him out in front of the changeup, well, you're not going to get him out in front when you hit the fastball to right field and staying inside it.
That's the point. He doesn't have to compensate, as we're talking about with David Wright having to speed up on the fastball, makes you vulnerable to the all-speed pitch. Jeter doesn't have to do anything. He just looks for the ball and hits.
It's interesting, though. Santana's going right after him. Not like he's saying, well, I'm afraid of this guy. I'm not going to let him hit me hard. He's only thrown him 4 pitches tonight. Jeter's hit 3 of them, 2 for singles. Gardner very fast, but Cora gets him by a step.
Well, I think he knows as well that, if you get in a situation with runners in scoring position, he's going to be a little more careful. But he realizes, hey, this guy hits me hard. I'm just going to see if I can get him to hit it at somebody, as he did last time up.
Now Mark Teixeira. Teixeira 1 hit in his last 25 at-bats. When we saw the Yankees 2 weeks ago on Sunday Night Baseball at Fenway Park, he had hit 3 home runs in a game the day before. David Wright stretches out and throws him out. Nice play. Santana with a 6-pitch inning. Only 63 pitches in 6 innings. And CC Sabathia is finished. Sergio Mitre is heading in from the bullpen. Top of the order for the Mets. Reyes coming up. And it is ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. From New York, the final game of this first interlude of the 2010 Major League season. The It's the all-New York Subway Series, the rubber match of the series, and the New York Mets are in control, 6-0 over the Yankees tonight. And CC Sabathia, the Yankees ace lefty, is out, replaced by Sergio Mitre, 29-year-old right-hander from Southern California, back for his second season with the Yankees.
Throws a lot of fastballs. 99% of them are sinkers.
Jose Reyes, who's had 2 singles and is also fouled out at the plate. That's 4 hits in 8 at-bats the last 2 days for the slumping Reyes. Came into this game hitting .216. This is one that had a lot of sink to it. Too low, though, 2-0. Sergio Mitre, who originally came up with the Chicago Cubs, also spent time with the Florida Marlins. Now a Yankee. And it's 3-0. Mitre is in his 9th game of the year. He made 2 starts. He got a 3.15 earned run average, 20 innings pitched, 15 hits allowed. He's also allowed 3 home runs in those 20 innings. 6-0 Mets lead. And that's a called strike. We're at Citi Field, the home of the Mets for the Yankees and the Mets. And we had a great marquee big-time matchup. Johan Santana of the Mets, CC Sabathia of the Yankees. Reyes pops it up. Ended up off balance in that swing, and it does go back into the crowd, so he's still alive. 3-2 the count. But Santana has been sparkling. Remember the last time he faced the Yankees was June of last year, and he gave up 9 runs in 3 innings. But it was Sabathia who struggled. Sabathia 5 innings, 6 runs, 5 earned on 10 hits in his 5 innings. So he really took a pounding for the Mets. 2 home runs by Jason Bay. That will go out of play. Santana also, we saw there, he'd given up 4 hits in 6 innings. He gave up 4 hits in the first 2 innings plus 2 batters, and has retired everybody since. He's retired 11 in a row now since they had 2 men on in the 3rd inning. Brett Gardner in center field. That one was hit well by Jose Reyes. Major League Baseball is proud to support Stand Up to Cancer. Visit standuptocancer.org to learn how you can help us in the fight against cancer.
John, I want to take a quick second here and congratulate my daughter, Angela Morgan, and her new husband, Eric Logan. They were married this week, and it was great. So congratulations to Angela and Eric.
Congratulations to you, Joe.
Thank you. Thank you.
A wedding in the family.
Yes.
You don't have to pay the bills anymore.
Well,
we'll send that out to her husband right now.
Yeah.
It's your turn, big boy.
Nice guy, though.
Good. It's always comforting to a father.
Exactly.
May they live long and prosper. 0-2 the count to Alex Cora. He knocked in the first 2 Mets runs against Sabathia with 2 down in the 2nd inning. And he had quite a battle with Sabathia, and then got the 2-run single. And the next hitter, Jason Bay, followed with a 2-run homer, and suddenly it was a 4-run 2nd inning for the Mets. All the runs scoring after 2 were down. Remember, Cora was not originally in the lineup. Luis Castillo's had a bone bruise on his left foot. Cora badly fooled there, and he's tagged out by Cervelli, who grabbed the ball out of the dirt. 2 down. Here comes Jason Bay with 2 home runs in the pocket. The first one in the 2nd inning. Out into left center over that high wall. And then he led off the 5th inning against Sabathia. Opposite field. Impressive. He has tripled his home run total for the season in his last 2 at-bats. He hit 1 in the first 43 games, and now he's hit 2 in a row and has 3 overall. He hit 36 with the Red Sox last year. It's hard to say how this ballpark would affect him. Oh, man, he got
was a 75-mile-an-hour pitch, and they're warning both benches.
Plate umpire Marvin Hudson immediately stepped out and pointed to the Yankee dugout and then over to the Mets dugout, issuing a formal warning from the umpires.
Well, Joe Girardi says, you know, if you can read lips, it was a breaking ball.
It definitely was a breaking ball. You got to be able to read the spin on that ball. It just came out the top of his hand and never had a chance to break back over the plate.
Jerry Manuel's out there too.
Well, Jerry's upset because why are you warning us? We didn't do anything.
Right.
And technically you're eliminating him retaliating is what's happening. If you warn both sides, Jerry cannot retaliate because he and Santana both would be thrown out of the ball game.
And there's going to be no risk of retaliation here because the players know that it was a breaking ball. It just kind of lollipops up there, hits him right in the middle of the back. He had plenty of time to get out of the way. He just kind of freezes, getting locked in at the plate, hitting some home runs. Hot yesterday with 4 hits.
Well, maybe that'll get the rivalry going again. Let it calm down a little bit.
So Bay is aboard, talking it over with Mark Teixeira. His teams will play again June 18th, 19th, and 20th at Yankee Stadium as Ike Davis might have broken his bat and is thrown out by Robinson Cano. Ike Davis is 2 for 4. We're headed to the 7th inning. A-Rod is coming up. 6-0 Mets. Jackie Robinson Rotunda, which is the main entrance behind home plate here at Citi Field, commemorating the great Jackie Robinson who broke in here in New York with the old Brooklyn Dodgers. A-Rod fouls one away, and it's a little electricity pulsing through Citi Field after Jason Bay, who hit 2 consecutive home runs, and he got hit by a pitch.
And John, between innings, Marvin Hudson, the home plate umpire, he went out and talked to Santana just to kind of remind him you can't retaliate because I'll have to kick you out of the game.
Of course, Jason Bay has been the big hitter for the Mets tonight, and here's the Yankees' big hitter, Alex Rodriguez. The count is 0-2. A little early for Santana to go and get himself kicked out of the game. We're in the 7th. A-Rod pops it up. This is the 3rd straight time he's popped it up against Santana. Reyes, after calling off right, and there is one away. Rodriguez is 0 for 3 in the game.
Well, you can see the signal below K zone, see the 2 by Cervelli, so we know it's going to be breaking ball. Now watch the target even, pound the glove, go alone away. Overthrow the breaking ball, comes out the top of your hand. You just spin it so much that it slips out early. And Jason Bay just kind of turns into it, 75 mile an hour. You look down there by where the count is. Definitely a breaking ball, definitely no malice to that pitch.
So, and Jason Bay knows that.
Yeah, both benches definitely knew that. It was just a little bit of an overreaction by home plate umpire Marvin Hudson.
Joe Girardi talking to Derek Jeter there.
Well, I mean, it's just, it shouldn't happen, but it's just one of those things that do happen in the ball game.
By the way, Johan Santana has not hit a batter this year. There's David Wright. Robinson Cano is 1 for 3. Santana has retired 13 in a row. This game turned around after Sabathia led off to 3rd with a single. Derek Jeter got his 2nd hit of the game. They had 2 men on, nobody out. Brett Gardner was up in front of Teixeira and A-Rod. And they had a real threat going against Santana. And Gardner hit a double play ball. And then the next pitch, Teixeira grounded out to 3rd. And that was it. They have not had a base runner since. And some innings he's made it look almost ridiculously easy. A 7-pitch 4th, a 6-pitch 6th. And he's gotten the first 2 outs on 5 pitches here in the 7th.
You might be at home as a fan and thinking, you know, where's that grinded out Yankee lineup? But when you know Santana's on the mound, you know he's going to attack the strike zone. The Yankee strategy has been to jump on that first fastball that they see, and Santana has made quality pitches, and he has a quality changeup tonight. So he either A, gets right ahead of him and then gets that changeup going and gets him out.
Nick Swisher has flied out to right field and lined out to left field. Santana has been so on top of his game. He not only has not walked anybody, he has not even gone to a 3-ball count on a single hitter until now. And that is his first walk. And a 4-pitch walk at that. So that'll put him back in the stretch for the first time since the 3rd inning as Cervelli comes up. Red Sox and Rays tomorrow night on Monday Night Baseball. Presented by Sears Lawn and Garden at 7 Eastern here on ESPN. Clay Buchholz and Wade Davis. And then Wednesday Night Baseball, the Yankees at the brand new Target Field in Minneapolis against Mauer Morneau and the Slugging Twins. 7 Eastern, Wednesday Night Baseball. Andy Bennett against Francisco Liriano. A couple of good matchups. And for the Red Sox, even though it's still fairly early in the season, they've only played 45 games. They need to cut into that Tampa Bay lead a little bit. The Red Sox, even after their win today in Philadelphia, they're 8.5 games back of Tampa Bay. The Red Sox, the last 2 days, playing the National League champion Phillies. And they just shut the slugging Phils down. Daisuke Matsuzaka had a no-hitter until 2 down in the 8th. Saturday, pitched a 1-hit shutout for 8 in that game. It ended up being a shutout. And then today, Tim Wakefield had 8 shutout innings against the fighting Phils.
And in that ballpark in Philadelphia, in the daytime, that's pretty hard to do.
Pretty impressive.
Yes.
You see the standings. The Rays are 32-12. Very reminiscent, really, I guess, of the 2 years ago when they jumped ahead early and stayed ahead all year. And ultimately, they were the team that went to the World Series.
Well, the real question with the Rays for me is, can their pitching hold up, for a whole season? They're pitching great now, and can those young guys sustain 200-plus innings and continue to pitch well?
David Price has really come into his own. The fastball command this year has been exceptional. It's really set him apart from his years past. Last year, the end of the year, it started to come, and he was hot, and he's taken it right into the 2010 season.
But like normal, they have a lot of ways to score runs. I think that's what's impressive to me. They use their speed not just on offense, but they use their speed on defense. They're a very good defensive ball club. And so they have a lot of ways to beat you, along with the pitching.
And another 3-ball count here from Santana. 3-2 to Cervelli. Only 77 pitches for the night, though, thrown by Johan Santana. 6-0. The Mets lead the Yankees here in the 7th. And the Yankee bullpen has some action going. You got Cervelli at the plate, Russo on deck, and then the pitcher's spot after Russo. Swisher at first. He runs. That one is hooked down the left field line deep into the corner. That ball is a fair ball. It's in play. It's only going to be a single for Cervelli. Coming all the way around to score from first is Swisher. Third base umpire Todd Titchener made the call.
Well, Cervelli's pointing like it was out, John.
And here comes Joe Girardi, also the Yankee third base coach.
We can't see the corner.
Rob Thompson is arguing with Titchener.
I can't see that corner. The fans are blocking us.
Cervelli talking it over with the Yankees first base coach there, Mick Kelleher.
But hits right at the corner of the orange line.
Right at the top.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is if it hits the foul pole, it's a home run.
But
does it just hit the wall and the line?
Well, it's away from the foul pole, so it couldn't have hit the foul pole.
Yep.
It hit the corner of the orange line and bounced back.
Well, they're going to go look at the video replay. So they're going to go look. I guess they'll see what we just saw.
Yeah.
That Titchener got the call absolutely correct.
That'd be a single and an RBI.
And Cervelli, I didn't see Cervelli running, but he could have been running very hard.
Well, the ground rules here, if the ball hits the orange line, it's a home run. It does not have to clear the orange line. It has to hit the orange line.
I've never heard of a ground rule like that.
I haven't either.
I know, and I've had him calling over there to the Mets PR office and asked them again, because I thought I remembered that from the ground rules here.
Why would you have a ground rule like that?
I don't know.
Ball's got to clear the wall to be a home run.
So, it's one way to make the ballpark smaller.
And that is the most bizarre ground rule I've ever heard. The ball's supposed to leave the ballpark.
Well, it normally has to hit above the yellow line or the orange line or whatever. This one hits on the line. This hits the corner.
I mean, the only point of the line is to give the umpires a delineation of where the wall is.
We're getting multiple interpretations, actually, believe it or not, from the Mets PR, and they're not even sure right now.
Well, the umpires are sure, and they're coming out having looked at the replay.
Right.
And we'll see what they're going to tell us here.
Maybe they're going to tell us.
They're saying no.
It's safe. That means it's a single. That's what I think has to go out.
Well, that's exactly what we saw.
Yep.
Well, you see Joe Girardi shaking his head. I mean, Joe probably thought it hit above and hit the foul pole and came back, but the ball never left the ballpark. I mean, it hits the corner and bounces back. And like I said, I've never heard of a ground rule where if it hits the line, it has to hit above the line to go out, to be a home run.
That's what I've always thought, and I just couldn't believe that we're getting an interpretation from the Mets that was the case.
So apparently we were getting some bad info from somebody who didn't really know what they were talking about. Because the only point of the line is, did the umpire look at, that's the top of the wall. If it hits over that line, that's a home run. It's got to leave the ballpark to be a home run.
A lot of ballparks we've seen where the chair railing, if it's in the other parts that you can see at times.
It hits right there. It would have had to hit up above there in order to be a home run.
So a long single for Cervelli. And again, I was not watching him run. I watched the flight of the ball and watched for the umpire's call. But I was a little surprised that Cervelli was just to first base. He is a catcher, I know.
Well, he felt like he got enough of it, I think, to get it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, his first 15, 20 steps, he was just watching the ball. He was running, but about half speed.
It doesn't look good when he gets a single when the runner on first scored. He was running with the pitch on a 3-2 count.
Especially with 2 outs here, he should be in scoring position.
So it'll really look bad if Russo gets a single here. Russo has flied to center and struck out. 2 down. Santana looking vulnerable for the first time tonight.
Well, when he hit it, he thought it was a home run. I thought it was hit well enough to get out.
He even thought it was a home run after he rounded first there.
Russo, the right center, shallow, and Francoeur. First run for the Yankees. Francoeur makes the catch, and Cervelli, he thought he had himself a home run. No! Calm down, calm down. Experience the Fan Fest, the 2K Sports Fan Fest out in the outfield here at Citi Field, playing some video baseball, which I'm hoping that was before the game since there was an actual game to watch. And they apparently paid their way in, and there's Mr. Met and a Mr. Met fan. Or Mr. Met Jr., I don't know.
Or Mr. Met imposter.
That's not the real guy.
That was paper mache.
Here we go to the last of the seventh inning. It's 6-1. The Mets lead the Yankees. And there's a rabid Mets fan. Got the Mets banner flying from the second deck. Sergio Mitre in relief of Sabathia for his second inning. David Wright, the hitter. Wright had an RBI double his last time, and that's a swing. Tried to check, couldn't do it on that slider, and the count is 0-1. Wright struck out on the first, struck out on the third, but then hit a line drive double over the head of Russo in left field to knock in the sixth Mets run of the game. That was in the fifth inning. His 33rd RBI of the year. Down the right field line and into the crowd. Strike two.
Well, let's take a look at the three at-bats David Wright has had. There's the curveball he strikes out on from Sabathia. Another curveball he strikes out on. And the third time, this one kind of hangs there. And he hits it over the head of the left fielder and gets a double.
There's A-Rod at third. A-Rod throws out Wright. And there is one away. There's been a lot of speculation in the local papers and local talk shows about the future of Jerry Manuel as a manager, and there's always speculation that his days are numbered. Early this week, the president of the Mets, Jeff Wilpon, flew down to Atlanta when the team was down there. That fueled further speculation that maybe he was going down to make a change, and so on and so forth. And we talked to David Wright about all of that rampant speculation and being asked about the future of his manager all the time.
It's nothing but a distraction. You know, that's the last thing that we as players want to answer. You know, questions about is you know, about the manager's future or coaches' futures. I mean, it's about winning games. If we can go out there and win games, then we don't have to answer any of those questions, and we understand that. And it hasn't become a huge distraction, but at the same time, you know, we understand that it's all about winning. And if we don't win, there's going to be changes.
1 ball and no strikes to Angel Pagan. And you guys have both, I'm sure, at times been on teams where they were underperforming, or at least the perception was they were underperforming, where the manager was on the hot seat. I mean, is that something that you start getting asked about?
Yeah, I've never really been around when a manager was on the hot seat, but you know, a pitching coach here and there went by the wayside when I was on a ball club, but never really had a manager get so far, especially playing for Tommy Lasorda all those years. Tommy was never going to be removed. So, but it definitely is a distraction talking to other players around the league that have gone through that.
Well, I was on a couple of teams where the manager should have been fired. But they didn't get fired.
You're going to say that now, huh?
So you were on teams where you were the one actually fueling all the speculation. Yeah,
yeah, he should have been fired. But I'm like, I played, you know, on the teams with Sparky and Frank Robinson, those guys, and obviously I was not in those situations.
Well, Oral came up under Tommy Lasorda. Tommy was not going to get fired.
No.
Barajas thrown out by Alex Rodriguez, and a 3-up, 3-down inning for Mitre. On to the 8th inning, the pitcher's spot, then Jeter coming up against Santana. The Yankees are down by 5.
bun. And in part by Kingsford Charcoal, Slow Down and Grill. And the new Ford Fiesta. It's a pretty big deal.
Now, I don't want to say that they drive fast here in New York, but I think there was a little camera trick we were playing there. But, here's Johan Santana into the 8th inning. Nobody was driving fast when we came over to the ballpark this afternoon. They had a parade. I think it was the Israeli Day parade on Fifth Avenue. And you couldn't get from the west side across without going way north in Manhattan.
Well, Joe and I came over in a helicopter. It was fine. Not a problem. There's people out there believing that right now.
3-0 the count to Marcus Thames, who is the pinch hitter for Sergio Mitre. Thames unable to play in the field right now because he twisted his ankle, and he did it in a very novel way. That's ball 4, so he draws a walk on 4 pitches to start the inning.
Well, Santana's lost it all of a sudden.
This was 4 days ago. Watch what he does with the bat. He's heading to first base, and ow! What was at Yankee Stadium?
I talked to him about that today. I said, I've never seen that happen before. How did that happen? And he said, well, the bat was spinning, and he was trying to decide whether he was going to run through the base, if the guy caught it on the left side, or around the bag. And he said by the time he looked up, the bat was right there.
That was in their loss to the Tampa Bay Rays. But Joe Girardi told me before the game that he's getting better, and he is letting him run the bases for himself here. After the walk, Derek Jeter, who's had 2 singles and a line drive out to right. And I was asking people, and I asked you guys who played all those years in the big leagues. I asked Joe Girardi and asked everybody I came upon if they'd ever seen anything like that before. Guy stepping on his own back.
Well, I have never seen it.
That far out of the box.
Yeah, that far out of the box. I've never seen it before.
Nobody's ever seen it. Girardi even told me that he asked Don Zimmer, who's now an advisor or consultant for the Rays.
Right.
62 years in baseball. Zimmer said, I've never seen it.
Well, first of all, you usually do not throw the bat down the first baseline. You usually throw it, left or right.
Jeter got jammed. And they're just going to get the one. Cora tags out Marcus Thames. Jeter safe at first on the 4 side. We go to the studio to Steve Berthume for a Sports Center right now. All right, Steve, thanks. And the Cardinals, wow, that's big-time trouble. That starting rotation has been one of the best in the National League. And Brad Penny, as you see, the Mets bullpen is working now with Igarashi, the right-hander, and Feliciano, the left-hander, warming up. As Santana's up to 90 pitches in the game here, but the last couple of innings, he's not looked nearly as sharp. Brett Gardner, the hitter, he's 0 for 3. Jeter at first, and 1 out here in the 8th inning. But anyway, Brad Penny hit a grand slam the other night against the former Cardinal Joel Pinheiro. Right. Back in St. Louis with the Angels. And then he hurt his back and had to leave the game.
Last inning we were talking about Jerry Manuel, and in no way were we insinuating that Jerry needed to be fired. They've had such an up and down year. You think 3/5 of his rotation is not in the rotation anymore. John Maine hurt, Neese hurt, Oliver Perez lack of ability to the bullpen. So you think about the injuries, the lack of power from the Jason Bay, the 2 home runs tonight. David Ray starting to get on track. Maybe Jose Reyes starting to get on track, and he has done a great job guiding the ship through all this turmoil.
Well, what's interesting to me is I was here, as I said, Friday night, and they were losing, and he went out to take out the pitcher. And a lot of times fans will voice their displeasure, when you go out with the manager. When he went out to change the pitcher, there was no boos, there was nothing. I said, that told me a lot about the fans here and what they think about Jerry Manuel.
That's right. The Mets third baseman David Wright, and 0 for 4 for Gardner.
The one thing I will say, I don't understand how he could remain as calm throughout, all the things that have happened as he has. I mean, you would think that every once in a while he'd just get mad and explode, which normally happens here in New York. But Jerry has maintained his calmness throughout all this, and now that surprised me because I would thought sometimes maybe a manager needs to go off every once in a while on the players. Well, he is,
yeah. Well, Tommy was that way.
Yeah, and
very much.
Sparky was that way. Every manager I'd ever played for.
Yep.
Every once in a while when things weren't going well, you just let it go.
Right.
But it seems that Jerry's able to keep it in, and at least publicly anyway.
Mark Teixeira, the hitter, he's 0 for 3 and 1 for his last 26.
I don't think he likes you continuing that count, John.
If he doesn't get a hit this time, he'll be 1 for 27.
I think, when you said 1 for 24, he said, okay, I get it. But now you've continued, so.
People tune in and out all the time.
Yeah, all right. Okay.
Some people may have heard something earlier.
They listen to Joe and I all the time. They might tune in and out to you, Joe.
He said that he was going to take a step backwards. By that he means, he takes about 100 swings a day because he's a switch hitter, so he has to hit from both sides. He said he was going to take a step backward, cut that in half, and he was also going to stop lifting. He said he's going to, try to give himself a chance to get back in the groove. But he said he may just have been doing too much, or trying to do too much.
Yankee fans might say he's done too little. That's a base hit. His second hit
got him
in the last 27 at bats.
Or
he's 1 for his last 1.
He likes that better, I'm sure.
Around to third goes Jeter, and now Alex Rodriguez comes up. Here's a look at the K-Zone. Look at that last pitch, brought to you by Kia.
Well, it was a fastball pretty much in the middle of the plate, down a little bit, and a good swing put on it by Teixeira. See, that's not that uppercut swing we've talked about. That's a nice, smooth swing there by Teixeira. And a nice line drive in the right center field.
So now, here is Alex Rodriguez. And suddenly, the Yankees could project themselves back into this game if A-Rod were to launch one. And he's launched a lot of them over the years. On the inside corner with a fastball, strike 1.
And that was a very smart pitch. He's gotten A-Rod out, getting him to pop up on changeups. So A-Rod was probably looking changeup there. So what does he do? He busts the fastball in on him.
Igarashi, the right-hander, Feliciano, the left-hander, still up in the Mets bullpen. 2 men on, 2 men out. They go inside again and off the inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Alex Rodriguez has popped up 3 straight times to second, to shallow right, and to shortstop against Santana in this game.
Well, obviously you can pitch A-Rod in with a good fastball, but the danger is if you miss a little bit and move that fastball out over the plate, you can definitely launch it out.
Fastball away in the outer half.
I mean, this is smart pitching right here. A-Rod been sitting on that changeup because he's gotten him out with it, and he's thrown the fastball in, and now back away. But he's thrown him 3 straight fastballs, so he could probably throw him that changeup if he wants to.
This will be the 102nd pitch of the night, thrown by Santana. Jeter at third, Teixeira at first. 6-1 Mets. He goes inside, off the corner.
You've got to have a good eye to take this after he's pounded you inside a couple of times and then gone away. Yeah. Well, Santana thought he got it close enough.
Everybody's standing at Citi Field, Yankee fans and Mets fans. Change up, but very high out of the strike zone. And that's a full count.
Well, he didn't want to just throw a changeup. He wanted to throw a nasty one, and he overthrew it and just pushed it too high.
Okay, what would you throw in this situation?
Well, I'm going to throw the changeup, and I'm not going to throw it for a strike. I'm going to plan like I've got a base open. I don't want to give him a pitch to hit for a home run. I've got a 5-run lead. I'm going to throw the changeup right down the middle and bounce it.
Jeter at third, Teixeira at first. Teixeira ready to run with 2 down. He goes. And the fastball up, fouled off the right field line.
See, I continue to make a pitcher's pitch here. I don't think this count is 3-2. I try and throw something out of my hand that looks like a strike and either ends up on the corner or ends up for a ball and makes him chase. Because Alex Rodriguez wants to hit a home run. He wants to cause damage right now. They're running out of outs and opportunities.
Two on, 2 out. 3-2 the count. Teixeira runs from first. And there's that changeup down near the dirt, and it goes for ball 4.
It's a great take.
And Jerry Manuel immediately out of the dugout with the left-handed hitting Cano coming up. He's going to bring in the left-hander, Feliciano. After not going even to a 3-ball count, much less walking about it, not even going to a 3-ball count until the 7th inning, he's gone to a 3-ball count 5 times in the last 8 hitters. And he has walked 3 of them. So Santana, what's he get up? Around 90 pitches. He was not the same pitcher. But he departs, having allowed the Yankees only 1 run in this rubber match of this Subway. Pedro Feliciano in for the Mets bullpen. He inherits a bases-loaded 2-out situation. And the outstanding left-handed hitter Robinson Cano at the plate. And he spins a little frisbee over the outside for a called strike.
Well, he came in on Friday to pitch to Cano with the runners in scoring position. And with the runners, he struck him out. And it was the same type of pitch. He threw him a lot of breaking balls. And he was able to strike Cano out.
2 down, 3 men on. And there's another one. Strike 2 call.
This is pretty much the way he tried to pitch him on Friday to make sure that he forced him to hit a breaking ball.
Cano with 1 hit in 6 career at-bats against Feliciano.
And the 1 strikeout was Friday night.
Jeter at third, Teixeira at second, Alex Rodriguez at first. 6-1, the Mets are leading. Cano, one of the top hitters in the American League, pops it up. Ike Davis.
3 straight breaking balls.
3 men left on. And perhaps the Yankees' best shot to get back into it has come and gone. Way back there. Gone! What a home run! Goodbye! Another home run. 2 home runs for Jason Bay. His first year with the Mets. And tonight, the slugger that they signed has appeared. 6-1, the Mets are leading. Jason Bay, 2 homers, 3 RBIs. There's a new pitcher for the Yankees, Boone Logan, their left-hander. On in relief of Sergio Mitre, the Yankee starter. Sabathia went 5 innings. Gave up 6 runs, 5 earned on 10 hits, including those 2 home runs by Jason Bay. Jeff Francoeur. Cano after the backhand. He's got a great arm, and there's one away. Cano really has a shortstop's kind of an arm.
Yeah, he does. He's got a shortstop arm. And a shortstop's arm with a quick release. His defense has caught up with his offense. That's why he's such a great player now. And he has a chance one of these days to not only lead the league in hitting, but to be the most valuable player in the league. I think he has that kind of ability.
Well, that was why it was such a dramatic moment. Feliciano came in, the specialist, to get him out with the bases loaded. That was the Yankees' shot to start to project themselves back into the game. As Fernando Tatis swing on the appeal ruled by Darrell Cousins, so it's 0-1. Tatis pinch hitting for Feliciano. The Robinson Cano came into this game hitting .337 with 9 home runs, a little over a quarter of a year. So that's one thing we've seen from him. The average generally has been high, and he seems to be adding more and more power.
So much was made of coming out of spring training, of him taking the responsibility of protecting Alex Rodriguez. They said it was his time to shine and to step up and take a major role, move up into that key spot in the order to protect Alex. And he not only protected him, but with 9 home runs, he leads the Yankee team. That's
a pace for more than 30 home runs. We'll see if he can keep it going the whole year. But that's Chase Utley-like.
Yeah. Well, they thought he could handle it. That's why one of the reasons they didn't re-sign Matsui, who had been behind A-Rod protecting him. They thought Cano could do it, and I think they're right.
Yeah, without Matsui, the MVP of the World Series, also without Johnny Damon, who was the number 2 hitter back of Jeter last year, and in front of Teixeira and A-Rod. Meanwhile, people got the little
different looking Mets.
Little good mood going on in the Mets dugout.
Having many shots like that of them relaxed and smiling over there.
Tatis with a base hit to left field. Russo cuts it off. Tatis is aboard, and now Jose Reyes, who's had a couple of hits tonight, coming up. Johan Santana had quite a night.
Yeah, a breaking ball right there. He was on top of all his different pitches. A fastball up. The changeup was one of the best one. Another changeup, and even didn't lose his concentration on CC Sabathia when he had to swing the bat. And our Chevrolet player of the game, Johan Santana. 7 2/3, 6 hits, 1 run. Nice night.
And a little bit of redemption for Santana. The last time he faced the Yankees was an unhappy night for him. 9 runs in 3 innings. It was the worst start of his career until 3 weeks ago, which brings up another point. This was his first shot against the Yankees since that drubbing he absorbed last year. He will not face the Phillies this week, but he will face them, rest assured, at some point later on in the season after they clobbered him worse than anybody's ever clobbered him before 3 weeks ago.
They had a little payback against CC Sabathia also. They had faced each other 4 other times. Cleveland and the Minnesota Twins, and CC had gotten him for a 3-1 clip. So now he maybe moved that record to 3-2 tonight. Some of the greatest left-handers that you're going to see, especially in the game today. You think of Cliff Lee and John Lester, maybe David Price, who won again tonight, I think, with Tampa Bay, 10-6, beat Houston. CC and Johan.
0-2 to Reyes. Hit hard. Could be 2. Backhanded by Cano to Jeter. Over to first. Double play. Very slickly turned. On to the 9th inning. And Nick Swisher coming up. The Mets lead the Yankees 6-1. Red Sox and Rays from the Dome in St. Petersburg. Then the Yankees at Target Field, the brand new, beautiful home of the Twins in Minneapolis. That'll be Wednesday night baseball at 7 Eastern. Andy Pettit for the Yankees against Francisco Liriano of the Twins. The Mets in the rubber match of this series with the Yankees leading 6-1. And here is Ryota Igarashi from Tokyo, Japan. Igarashi began the year, made the 7 appearances and had a 1.35 ERA. It was very impressive, but he injured his hamstring, missed the last 30 games. They just activated him from the disabled list today. He made 4 rehab appearances in the minor leagues for the Mets, getting himself back in shape, ready to go. So now he is back in the big leagues and gets his first taste of the Subway Series. 0-1 the count to Nick Swisher, who has flied out to left, or rather flied out to right, lined out to left, and walked and scored the Yankees' only run. Switch hitter batting lefty now. Blew a fastball at 95 miles an hour. So he got some pretty good stuff, it looks like.
Yeah, he's a power fastball guy with a split and a curveball, and he can get it up above 95.
With the Yakult Swallows in Japan. And he was a strikeout pitcher in Japan. That fastball up and away. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
This is another, spoke in the wheel for Jerry Manuel, a guy who's not coming really back from a slump, but an injury that adds another piece. You get Reyes hot, you get Bay hot, you get David Wright on track, get a couple starters going like Pelfrey and Santana, fill in the rest of that rotation. The bullpen gets a little bolstered up. They're in last place with only 6 games out. Remember 5-11 in 1-run games coming into tonight, so
maybe you add
turn around.
Oswalt.
Yeah, well, you never know. Shoot, Jerry would like him.
Well, one of the things I read is that the Mets do have payroll flexibility to add a pitcher later on.
There's a splitter, and that's low. 3-2.
Isn't it amazing in New York? Our first game in here, Jerry was on his way out. Then they win 8 in a row, and Jerry's fine, all settled in. Now we come back in here again, and the owner has come to visit them on a road trip, and is Jerry back on the hot seat. Now they win tonight. We're talking about pieces coming back, and they get this thing around. Things change quick in New York.
Well, they really could change dramatically if Roy Oswalt all of a sudden was in that rotation, backing up Johan Santana and Mike Pelfrey.
Yes.
Jason Bay, they would change dramatically if Jason Bay became Jason Bay again. And tonight, he gave an indication that that's about to happen. He hit 2 home runs. David Wright had an RBI double in the 5th inning. And what about Carlos Beltran? Wither Beltran. 2 hits for Jose Reyes after a 2-hit game last night as well. So some positive signs there for a key member of that lineup at the top of the order, the man who seems to get everything going. 3-2 the count to Swisher.
And Rod Barajas having his best career year offensively, signed for his glove and his ability to guide a pitching staff, but the offense is there.
Just a bit outside.
How is Uke feeling? We got a good report on him when we were in Milwaukee.
Apparently he was at the game that night.
Yeah.
When we were there last Sunday, which is a good sign.
John, I want to give a quick get well to Mickey Morabito, the traveling secretary of the Oakland A's. He used to work for the Yankees as well. And to Joy Neiman, she's the mother of Randy Neiman, the bullpen coach for the New York Mets. They both Randy wanted me to wish her well.
I saw Mickey Morabito Friday at the Oakland Coliseum for the Bay Bridge series, the Giants and the A's.
Yeah, a lot of people forget he used to work here for the Yankees years and years ago.
He was here a long time. Here back in the 70s. Mickey Morabito has been a fixture in Major League Baseball for a long, long time on both coasts. 1 strike to count to Francisco Cervelli. Runner at first, nobody out here in the 9th. It's 6-1. The Mets leading the Yankees. And Ryota Igarashi, one of 2 Japanese imports in the Mets bullpen. That's a single for Cervelli, his 2nd straight hit.
And look, Neiman's going to have somebody up out there in the bullpen.
Well, let's have a look now from K-Zone, brought to you by Kia Motors.
You come back from the DL, and sometimes the adrenaline's there. You miss your locations every once in a while. You have to kind of rely on the fastball, even though it's your main pitch. You don't mix in. I'll tell you what, you get a few guys on, this guy gets up.
And there is K-Rod, the veteran closer of the Mets, getting ready for the first time in the bullpen. 2 men on, nobody out. Kevin Russo, the hitter, and that's a called strike.
Well, K-Rod actually was like Mariano Rivera. He came in yesterday in the 8th inning.
Got a 5-out save.
Yeah. So
they don't play again until Tuesday. So why not? Nice save there by Barajas and a ball in the dirt, and things still looking real shaky for Igarashi. K-Rod yesterday got the 5-out save, the second one he's had this year. 2 of his 9 career saves of that length have come this year. He's hit 28 pitches in that game. There is Juan Miranda on deck. The pitcher due up next. The splitter in the dirt. And nothing's even close right now for Igarashi.
You get a little adrenaline. You're back out there in the competitive environment. You're in the Subway Series. Your fastball is good, but the hitter right now can eliminate your secondary stuff because you can't throw it for strikes. So the fingers might not go down, but the hitters will not respect the fact that you can throw other pitches until you show you can get them over.
with the fact that you're ahead by 5 runs, I think you still have to use that fastball.
And the fastball up in the zone, fouled out of play by Russo.
And I think even again you have to go to the fastball because he's not able to get his secondary pitches over. Go with the fastball, and the worst thing you can do is walk hitters.
Well, especially being able to throw at 95, it's still a very tough pitch to hit at that velocity. Gives a little bit more room for error.
2-2. 2 men on, nobody out. Look out. Wow.
Well, maybe that was one of those reach back and let it go fastballs, and he threw it, like you say, overthrew it.
K-Rod getting ready with a little more urgency perhaps now in the bullpen. 1 pitch away from loading the bases here. He needs to throw a strike. Right back to the mound. There's one at second, and he was all over the place. His control as a pitcher was all over the place, and his eyes were all over the place there. He actually looked at third base first before turning to second. The play was automatically just to turn and throw to second there.
When the adrenaline's running through your body, this is what you talk about when the game is moving fast. The game right now for him is moving very fast. Nothing is coming naturally. He's back out in the competitive environment. He's glad to have his arm healthy. He's probably thinking about making his pitches, making sure nothing hurts. And now he's in a competitive situation, gets the ground ball back to him, and he does kind of flinch mentally to figure out where to throw the ball.
The ball, I think, should have been a double play. So here, as the pinch hitter, is Juan Miranda. Cuban-born Miranda has shown power with the Yankees. And a foul straight back. He's had 22 at-bats, has hit 2 homers, a double and a triple already. This is being brought up from the minor leagues. Miranda defected from Cuba in 2004 to the Dominican Republic. Is now a citizen in the Dominican. He got up for a look-see with the Yankees both last year and the year before. Base hit to right field. Swisher comes in to score. Russo stops at second. It is 6-2, and Derek Jeter is coming up. The possible tying run would not be Jeter, but the man on deck at this point. And here comes Jerry Manuel. And he has signaled to the bullpen to bring in Francisco Rodriguez. K-Rod. 6-2
match. Save situation now.
The possible tying run is on deck as he comes in. A save situation. Game 3 of this interleague series in New York, the all New York Yankees and Mets. But the Mets try to wrap up the series, have run into a little trouble here in the 9th inning. A run is in, 2 men are on, and the top of the order coming up. And so the closer, Francisco Rodriguez, has been summoned after throwing 28 pitches and working the final 1 2/3 innings here last night.
Now, 28 pitches would be more stressful if he hadn't started throwing that changeup in the last couple years. So when he was fastball, curveball, and a lot of curveballs, that'd be more stressful on the arm. But now with the changeup, 28 doesn't worry me quite as much.
Derek Jeter has had success against K-Rod. 5 for 11, plus 4 walks against him. So he's reached base 60% of the time that he's faced K-Rod. Jeter 2 for 4 tonight. Look out. The curveball goes right over his head. Both teams were warned after Jason Bay, in his first plate appearance after hitting 2 home runs, he got hit in the back, but with a 75-mile-an-hour curveball. So no intent there or here. But nonetheless, a warning was issued. That's a strike on the outside. No, off the outside. 2-0. That's not a strike on the outside. So he falls behind Jeter. You got Brett Gardner up next, the left-handed batter, and then the power to Shara and Alex Rodriguez. At the knees. That's a strike, I'm pretty sure.
Jeter had no intention of swinging right there. He was just trying to get on base, bring that tying run to the plate.
One more base runner, and they would have the possible tying run at the plate with Russo at second and Miranda at first. 2-1 the count to Jeter. Along the right field line, foul. Did you see the game earlier this week in Atlanta? Atlanta was trailing the Reds 9-3 in the bottom of the 9th inning, and they scored 7 runs and won the game. Brooks Conrad hit a grand slam to win it. And a pitcher other than the closer came in because it was a big lead and got into some trouble. Some runs were on the board, and then the closer came in, Cordero, and he gave up the grand slam. 2-2 the count to Derek Jeter. And a pop-up foul and out of play.
Wasn't that a ball that was deflected off a glove over the wall, too?
Almost caught.
Yeah. Came around first base, thought the ball was caught, kind of got depressed, then all of a sudden figured out it was a grand slam, and they won.
Two and two to Derek Jeter. Yankees tried to mount what would appear to be an unlikely comeback. They were down 6-1 going to the ninth inning, but they have a run home. They have 2 men on. And Francisco Rodriguez is in the game to try and stop this thing right now. That is foul. So in the little breaking ball, and the count is still 2-2 to Jeter.
Well, it appears to me that curveball, breaking ball is not as sharp as he would like it to be. But because Jeter's able to kind of wait on it and still make good contact with it.
2-2 the count. Jeter has already seen 7 pitches from K-Rod here. And it goes on. 6-2 Mets. Ninth inning. And the curveball that hangs inside. Now it's a full count.
Well, you talked about the fact that he had a changeup now, but he's thrown all fastballs and breaking and curveballs to Jeter here in this at bat.
So what are you saying?
Well, that this might be a good opportunity to throw the changeup.
That ball he pulled foul might have been a changeup. I'm not sure if he overthrew a curveball and stayed a little bit straight, or it was a changeup. But you're right. He's having trouble with the curveball.
3-2. And that ball is hammered down the left field line. That's going to be extra bases. One hop up against the wall. Bay plays the carom as Russo scores. Miranda stops at third. A double for Jeter. Now it's 6-3. And suddenly anything is possible in this game.
Well, that's that curveball that I said wasn't sharp. It's just rolling. And that one he started up, and it just rolled right into the strike zone. Look where it is, above the belt. And Jeter just hammers it. And this is why he is a good hitter. If the ball's away, he goes the other way, but you hang a breaking ball inside, and he will pull it.
Teixeira watching from the on-deck circle, or heading out to the on-deck circle, to the excitement building in the Yankee dugout. Here is Brett Gardner, 0 for 4 in the game. There's a real slow one that drops in there for a strike. So Gardner is the possible tying run, but he is not a power hitter. Having said that, he has hit a couple of home runs this year. And right now they're seeing a K-Rod who is not his usual crisp self. Back with a fastball. No swing on appeal. Ruled by third base umpire Todd Titchener. 1 ball, 1 strike. The Yankees, remember last year, their World Series championship year, they were the king of the comebacks, and they've had 12 comeback wins this year. I'm not sure how many of those have been comebacks like this one would be. At the knees. 1-2 the count. 1 out in the ninth inning.
Well, Gardner might not have power, but if he gets a base hit, he's got 17 stolen bases. He's also a good 2-strike hitter. 28 2-strike hits. Leads in Major League Baseball.
Runners at second and third. Slow chop. David Wright going to have to hurry. He's out!
And a nice stretch there at first base by Ike Davis.
Miranda scores, and Jeter stays at second, and here comes Joe Girardi. Gardner was hopping mad about the calls. Mick Kelleher, the coach, is right there with Darryl Cousins.
Well, what they're actually arguing about is whether Ike Davis stayed on the bag or not. And I said it was a nice stretch because he helped right out by stretching toward the ball. And I'm sure Joe Girardi figures he had a good view of it because he's looking right down the line there from the third base dugout. And we'll take a look and see if he stays on the bag or not. Because if he catches the ball and he's on the bag, it looks like he's out. It looks like he stayed on the bag. Nice stretch. See, he's on the bag.
Well, I think he's not out.
I think he's out. No, I think he's out. I mean, maybe by 2 or 3 inches, but I think he's out. And remember, right there, the ball's in his glove.
The foot's on the bag?
No, it's not on the bag. Roll it. See, now it's on the bag. It wasn't on the bag at first.
If I'm a Yankee fan, I'm saying you can't tell that. Chopper, and that's going to be a hit with A-Rod coming up as the possible go-ahead run. The possible tying runs are on base, and Alex Rodriguez, one of the great sluggers of his time or any other time, coming up.
Well, that's not what they wanted to share for or paid him all that money for, but right now it works.
Take it.
It works for them.
Tell you what, that chopper takes you back to the play before, and was he out or safe?
He was out.
Tell you what.
Let's see if we get a better look. Now watch his heel is not on the back. His heel is not there. See, the ball's in his glove already, and now he hits the bag. I mean, it's very close, obviously, but he was out. It was like 2 inches, looked like to me, or 3 inches above the bag when the ball went in the glove.
I mean, the ball's got to be in the guy's glove before the foot hits the bag.
Well, it was.
I'm not so sure myself.
Well, let's see.
It might not have been visible. It might not have hit the back of the glove yet, but it was within the circumference of the glove.
Yeah.
Ramiro Pena, who is the possible tying run as a pinch runner for Teixeira at first base. Alex Rodriguez has never done well against K-Rod. 2 for 16 lifetime, including 9 strikeouts. So more than half of his career at bats against K-Rod, he has struck out.
This is not the sharp K-Rod that you were used to seeing, though.
Very high.
I would say in those times when he was striking out, he had a better breaking ball than he has tonight. He has hung it over right-handed hitters' heads. He's hung it to Derek Jeter for the hit to left. You haven't seen the real sharp one on the outer half of the plate yet.
And even the fastball, we're getting it at 89 miles an hour. That's not the usual zip on his fastball. 6-4. 3 runs are in. 2 men are on. 2 balls and no strikes.
And the Mets are playing very deep. No doubles outfield. They're trying to keep the ball in front of them. Keep it from over their head. Obviously, they would tie the score.
Pena, a faster runner than Teixeira, is the possible tying run at first. We'll see where they are in the outfield. Ike Davis on the bag with Pena at first. Jeter, the runner at third. 2-0. Popped it up, foul, and back out of play.
I was going to say, I think you have to go after A-Rod. I don't think you want to have to pitch to Cano in this situation, and that's why they wanted him behind him to protect him. Fastball right at the top of the zone and pretty much in the middle of the plate.
And Alex is locked in. You remember his last at-bat. He battled Santana. Santana threw some quality fastballs, tried to finish him off with a 3-2 changeup that was borderline, and Alex took it. So he's seeing the ball real well out of the pitcher's hand.
A-Rod 0 for 3 with a walk in this game. 2-1. 3-1.
I think that was a smart pitch to try to get to 2 strikes before you even show him the breaking ball. It didn't work, but I think that was a good idea.
Three and 1 the count to Alex Rodriguez. play. And that might have been the one to hit.
That was strength against strength, and that was a mighty swing right there.
I mean, I think that actually Francisco Rodriguez, K-Rod, I think he's in control here. Because A-Rod knows he's got the curveball. He hasn't seen it. And what do you do?
Yeah, it's in the back of your mind.
In the back of your mind.
A-Rod with 589 career home runs facing K-Rod, the great closer.
He can go with another fastball if he wants.
Pena will run from first. He goes. And he changed up.
Beautiful pitch in that A-Rod hadn't seen it before, this at bat.
It's another great at bat by Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah. That was a strikeout pitch right there, down and away.
Yeah, K-Rod is feeling his way through this at bat. He's trying to challenge him with the fastball. He knows he doesn't want to hang another curveball like he did to Jeter. And he goes to his third pitch, his changeup, in a key role. So you know he is trying to pitch his way through this save, not really dominate.
That was a great pitch. It was just excellent plate coverage by Alex Rodriguez.
This will be the seventh pitch to A-Rod. 3-2 the count. Pena runs from first. And a foul deep down the right field line. Followed up the changeup with a fastball.
And a defensive swing by Alex Rodriguez, just fighting it off. He was trying to read the pitch, and he saw a fastball down the middle, and he just did an emergency hack.
28 pitches in his 5-out save last night, and he's now thrown 20 in this game. Alex Rodriguez, for a while last year, it seemed like every other week he was hitting a walk-off homer or a walk-off double. The possible tying run is at first. Jeter over at third. There goes Pena. Change up! Struck him out! And the ball game is over. What a battle between Francisco Rodriguez and Alex Rodriguez. And finally, as he's done almost invariably in their personal battles over the years, it is K-Rod who prevails, and the Mets have won to take this series.
Well, you have to give K-Rod all the credit. I mean, look, he's coming in after throwing 28 pitches last night, and as you described it perfectly, Oral, he pitched his way through this. He did not dominate. He did not have the sharp breaking curveball. He didn't have all the pitches the weapons that he usually takes to the mound with him.
The last pitch, he had thrown him the fastball, he had thrown him a changeup. Alex had battled him throughout the whole at-bat. Fastball, I think this is a curveball. See it drop. It's almost the same one that Derek Jeter hit for a double, but it's almost one of those hangers that you're glad it hangs because it jams the hitter. If he throws it and it breaks well, it's out over the plate. Maybe Alex gets it because of the height, but it stayed on the inner half and tied him up.
And I tell you what, this was a great effort by both teams tonight. Great ball game.
The Mets, back of Johan Santana, beat the Yankees and CC Sabathia. And they'll meet again next month at Yankee Stadium. Next on ESPN, SportsCenter. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Now for Joe Morgan, Oral Hershiser, and our entire crew. This is John Miller from New York saying good night.